হ্যাঁ
কোনটা? ওটা বারণ, ম্যাম বারণ করেছে। এইটা তোমার এখানে এখানে না 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 পাশে যাও, ক্যামেরা মোডে যাও, পাশে যাও,
পর থেকে মুর্শিদাবাদ যখন তখন থেকে
অ্যাকশন।
এখানে গোল গোল হয়ে যাচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ, এই তো আমার কাছে লাইভ চলছে। ওটা ম্যাম লিক করে ম্যাডাম
বাইরে ম্যাম বাইরে করতে যাচ্ছে, মিউট করে দাও। মিউট করো। একটু পাঠিয়ে দাও না।
ঠিক আছে? বস
We would request, we have two requests. One is for people who are still outside. We know um, that you're here on time. Would you please come inside and take your seats inside the auditorium? And two, we see that guests, many of them are, seated behind. If you could please come forward and take the seat. We would be requesting towards the end of the auditorium to please come forward. Mohan Garan, please.
আমরা শুরু করি লাইটটা অফ করি লাইটটা অফ করি
Audience.
Climate change. Yes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Hitchley Inspiration, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you to the 30th Foundation Day celebration. Founded in 1996 by alumni of IIT Kharagpur, Hitchley Inspiration completes 3 decades of committed work in inclusive development. The theme of today's program is Youth in Focus, Inclusive Development in Action. Youth is not a time of life. It is a state of mind. It is not a matter of rosy cheeks, red lips, and supple knees. It is a matter of the will, a quality of the imagination, a vigor of the emotions. These words by Samuel Ullman remind us that youth is not defined by age alone, but by imagination, courage, and the will to act. It is this understanding of youth as energy, responsibility, and possibility that guides Hitchley Inspiration's work and hence brings us together today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us as we begin this commemorative afternoon. May I now invite Mr. Deepankar Ghosh, President, Hitchley Inspiration, to deliver the welcome address.
I think we have set the tone. What my previous speaker was trying to welcome you all, and you know the occasion. It is our privilege and the pleasure to begin a new era in the exemplary and the illustrious chapter of the Hazley Inspiration, which we affectionately these days call Inspiration. Hazley Inspiration, which was initiated by the alumni, as the previous speaker already mentioned, of the IIT Kharagpur 30 years ago, with a humble but dedicated beginning, but with a strong determination of will and establishing a self as a specialist organization. Today, Inspiration is a leading institute of the planning, monitoring, and specialized advisory organization. Ladies and gentlemen, and our respectable guests of the evening, we have gathered here today to the very special occasion of Hazley Inspiration has completed their 30 years of successful and glorious and existence with pride. On behalf of the whole governing body, members of the Inspiration, and our dedicated staff members, I welcome you all for a fruitful discussions, informative and entertaining evening. On this particular day, when we are going to celebrate and looking back to the history of the growth and the achievements, I reverently remember and pay respect to our first president, late Professor R.N. Chattopadhyay. An inspirational and encouraging, energetic late second president, Mr. Tarun Kumar Basu, and our immediate past president, late Colonel Jyotirmoy Chaudhary. Their contribution, guidance, and appropriate advice on different occasions helped us immensely. I want also to remember our past treasurer of the organizations, late Professor Tapan Kumar Basu. On this occasion, I want to salute all of them. যে যেখানে থাকুন আমাদের সকলের উপরে শান্তি বর্ষণ করুন। ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you, sir, for those wonderful words. I request you to stay back, please. Yeah. Now I request Dr. Shashwati Mukherjee, Chairperson, Youth Services, Rotary Club of Calcutta, to deliver the welcome address. Dr. Shashwati Mukherjee, please.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Calcutta and as a youth service chair, I welcome you all to this 30th foundation celebration of Hazley Inspiration. This year's theme is Youth in Focus, Inclusive Development in Action, which I believe it's truly reflecting the heart of Rotary's youth service. Because youth service is about empowering the young people who are sitting there at the back, doing some positive changes, bringing some positive impact to the society. Because It is about ensuring that these people can jump a big leap if their voices are heard and if their talents are protected and displayed and valued. So, in this line of contribution, I truly believe that Hijli Inspiration is exactly doing the same thing for the last 30 years. Nurturing the young minds, the young talents, paving new avenues, bringing new opportunities, creating new pathways so that they can grow across different societies and communities. And that is why this celebration of Foundation Day closely aligned with the Rotary's vision of service through youth. It is just not only a milestone of celebration, but I can say it's a joint and shared commitment where we invest in these young minds so we can build an inclusive future. Thank you all for joining us, for coming here and supporting this meaningful journey. Before finishing my speech, I would now request our President-elect of Rotary Club of Calcutta 2627, Rotarian Anand Sharma, to please come on the stage and share a few words. Rotarian Anand Sharma, President-elect 2627 of Rotary Club of Calcutta.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful organization which was formed about 30 years before, and it's a lovely journey it came through. And they're doing a wonderful job. And I don't know very much in detail about the organization, but whatever I know is our own Chandridi in our club, which she's handling everything there. And I'm proud of her and proud of everybody who's involved in this. I wish them all the best. 30 years have gone, another 70 years should come, we'll celebrate 100 years also. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Mukherjee. We will now proceed with the lighting of the lamp, symbolizing the beginning of the collective journey for the day. May I request members of Hijli Inspiration to please come forward for the lighting of the lamp. I would also like to invite Professor Parthopratim Chakraborty, former director, IIT, to please come up on stage. Rotarian Anand Sharma, if you could please come up. Dr. Shashwati Mukherjee, if you could join us, please, for the lighting of the lamp. I would request the members and dignitaries to please light the lamp in the middle. I would also like to request Hijli Inspiration staff to come up to light the lamps on either side. To mark an auspicious beginning, I would like to invite Ms. Shormila Mukherjee from Hijli Inspiration to present the Arambha Vandana.
Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso ma jyoti gamaya Mrityurmamritam gamaya Sarvesham swasti bhavatu Sarvesham shanti bhavatu Sarvesham purnam bhavatu Sarvesham mangalam bhavatu Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotir gamaya Mrityurmamritam gamaya Sarvesham swasti bhavatu Sarvesham shanti bhavatu Sarvesham mangalam bhavatu Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Shormila, if you could join the group. And may I request everyone to remain on stage for a moment for photographs, please.
Please come on stage. Please tell us.
Would request Dr. Chandri Das, Professor Parthupratim Chakraborty, and Mr. Dipankar Ghosh to please stay back. We now come to a reflective moment in our program. We will begin with the screening of a short audio-visual presentation that traces 30 years of Hijri Inspirations journey, its work, its vision, and its impact. And following the video, I would like to invite Dr. Chandri Das, Secretary of Hijri Inspiration, to address us and share her reflections on this remarkable journey.
মিস্টার ঘোষকে একটু সরতে হবে উত্তম 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 না অডিও ভিডিওটা বাড়াবো, অডিও ভিজুয়ালটা বাড়াবো, তাই না? ভিডিওটা
ম্যাডামের ভিডিওটা, হ্যাঁ
ম্যাডামের মানে
মানে আমাদের ভিডিওটা।
স্ক্রিনটা বড় হচ্ছে না কেন? স্ক্রিন বড় হচ্ছে না কেন?
An idea was born in Hijri, IIT Kharagpur, with a strong belief that appropriate strategies backed by strong theories of change and data can bring in a social change.
Three decades of inspiration, carrying out sector-specific interventions shaped by local and community needs. Such interventions have established Inspiration's footprint across every district of West Bengal, with work extending to other parts of India. Hijri Inspiration has also had the opportunity to work with a wide range of state and national government departments, international agencies, and corporates.
The 30 years of journey unfolded in three phases. The first phase was on learning, the second decade was on refining, and the third decade is on consolidating partnerships. Partnerships with the government, with the corporates, with social organizations, with our social products or strategies which can be scaled up and replicated.
From remote villages to urban slums, Hijri Inspiration has been the bridge between need and solution, between data and decision.
For the last 3 decades, Inspiration is walking alongside communities. Not above, not ahead, but with. And in the process, we are touching millions of lives.
Bridging the Divide, Inspiration's longest running education initiative in urban slums, where basic living conditions pose an everyday challenge for parents to support child education, has empowered first-generation learners through foundational learning and upgrading to digital education.
Emotion is our guiding force.
Book and device-based Congo Reading is the latest initiative that Inspiration has adopted to strengthen its foundational learning.
One of many health initiatives, Hijri Inspiration's Tuberculosis Health Action Learning Initiative, THALI, embedded health interventions within wider systems, integrating urban slum communities and informal workers through coordinated care, nutritional support guidelines, and institutional convergence. Nutrition has always been an area of core focus, from participatory convergent institutional planning at the Anganwadi center level to strengthening nutrition behavior in urban slums during and post COVID-19, with special focus on mother and child. Water quality management initiatives reached over 200,000 people across districts of West Bengal and generated scalable strategies like behavior change communication and dietary reorientation for fluoride mitigation with international recognition.
Whether tackling fluoride toxicity or tuberculosis recovery, Inspiration's programs for dietary planning have shown that food is not just about sustenance, but also a strategy for recovery from tuberculosis as well as mitigation of fluoride toxicity.
In sanitation, Inspiration has played a multifarious role across West Bengal, supporting Swachh Bharat Mission efforts in select districts and strengthening sanitation systems across 128 urban local bodies, piloting and developing community-led strategies for operations and maintenance of community toilets. Inspiration demonstrated scalable and sustainable models adopted by urban local bodies across West Bengal.
যেভাবে আমরা কমিউনিটি টয়লেটগুলোকে করতে পেরেছি আমাদের সোসাইটিতে, তো সেই জায়গায় আমরা ভেরি মাচ হ্যাপি। ধন্যবাদ জানাবো থার্ড পার্টি যে ইন্সপিরেশন রয়েছে, যাদের ইনভলভমেন্ট ছাড়া, যে গাইডেন্স ছাড়া আমরা এটাকে ফুলফিল করতে পারতাম না।
4টা ফ্যামিলিতে প্রতিদিন একজন একজন করে করা হয় পরিষ্কার। যখন পৌরসভা থেকে লোক আসে ওরা করে, আর না হলে আমরা করি।
We have co-created community-led models for operations and maintenance.
এখন তারা খুব ভালোভাবে মেইনটেনেন্স করছে, খুব সুন্দরভাবে ব্যবহার করছে। আগামীতে তারা এটাই ধরে রাখবে, এটা আশা করছি।
In solid waste management, HG Inspiration has provided technical hand-holding and operational support to select urban local bodies, turning policy frameworks into practical, sustainable urban services. In the livelihood domain, Inspiration has worked across multiple initiatives, from WBADMIP to NRLM. Under WBADMIP, the organization focused on strengthening farmer livelihoods by supporting capacity development and livelihood diversification.
Indeed, the farmers saw, learned, and adopted these improved practices.
While SAG initiatives fostered women's economic empowerment through financial literacy, enterprise development, and market linkages. While gender has always been a cross-cutting priority, recent years have seen a sharper focus on climate resilience and youth. Through the Green Panchayat for Sustainable Development Initiative, simple, local, climate-smart practices such as kitchen gardens and organic farming have strengthened climate resilience in rural West Bengal, and the eco-clubs at the school level have also been a powerful tool for nurturing climate awareness.
Green is the solution for climate resilience.
Mobilizing youth for sustainable development has emerged as a key focus area for Inspiration. Flagship initiatives like the Smile Twin e-learning program empowered urban first-generation learners for employment. Inspiration has curated meaningful internship pathways, an internship for a cause model that builds skills, purpose, and social responsibility among young people. Over the years, Inspiration has engaged with some of India's key national and state government programs across rural and urban contexts. This engagement has supported planning, implementation, and monitoring processes aligned with public policy priorities. Inspiration's contribution to system strengthening has been anchored in research studies, strategic inputs, capacity building initiatives, trainings, and technical support translated into reports, frameworks, and actionable guidance. "30 years of work driven by teams and a shared purpose."
Actually, the journey of Inspiration is a testimony of Sustainable Development Goal 17 and building partnership
all along.
Innovative,
Analytical.
ethical,
Committed. Adaptive.
Inclusive, dynamic,
knowledge,
Collaborative.
transparency, inspiring,
Compassionate.
Teamwork.
Partnership.
Transformative.
Inspiration. Together we learn. Together we build. Together we achieve.
Good afternoon or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, young friends sitting in front of the dais. So this was about inspiration, the span of inspiration in a snapshot. This couldn't cover all that we have done. However, it touched upon the sectors and have given you a glimpse of what we have done. However, I just wanted to let you know a little bit more about inspiration, drawing, from this, drawing strings from what has been already shown. In the education sector, we have seen foundational learning, but I wanted to tell you we have done formal and non-formal education. In health, we spoke of the tuberculosis health initiative, but we have worked on RCH, MCH, and nutrition programs. In water and sanitation, I think we have covered most of it. We did water quality management, we did a lot of programs around Swachh Bharat Mission, sanitation behavior change, and facilitating and hand-holding the government in achieving the ODF status. We piloted in solid waste management, so that's a very new area which needs a lot of attention when we are in it. Gender has always been a cross-cutting issue in all our projects, but we have done some very meaningful work, research work around gender violence, impact of gender violence. Actually, that was a cross-country program which we had done, a research program comparing Bangladesh and West Bengal. And we did another very, very important study on undocumented migration, which relates to trafficking. Adolescents and youth, we have captured all the different domains of health, education, and employability. Environment, we did environment education. We had undertaken projects on environment education, and green has been our latest mantra, I would say. We try to again make green a cross-cutting issue. And wherever in all these sectors, our work verticals covered research, participatory implementation, monitoring and evaluation, and at the end of the day, capacity building. But what do we have in our kitty at the end? We have implemented several programs. What do we have in our kitty to bring it forward, to have organizations make use of it in scaling it up? One very important strategy is behavior change strategy, where we used data and evidence, shared it with the community for informed decision making, which had a long lasting impact on behavior change. We did it in the water sanitation domain, but it applies to any other domain. And we have the strategies handy with us. So anybody ready to take up the strategies are most welcome. In the community's infrastructure space, the community toilets we have already shown, we have different models of community-led operation and maintenance. At least 7 to 8 models spanning from complete ownership to hybrid models. So those are also available for application. A very important work was on convergent nutrition planning with horizontal and vertical integration of stakeholders. This also is a model which is ready for us for replication. Another very important thing, we consider monitoring and evaluation to be a very specialized function. But we adopt a 3-tier monitoring and evaluation model where the program team, the program administrative team, the project team, and the field team each have their dedicated monitoring and evaluation frameworks, and they keep on monitoring on ground. It's never a specialized function unless the people on the field understand what are the inputs, outputs, and outcomes. It doesn't lead to results. So we co-create with any organization on a particular project and create a 3-tiered monitoring and evaluation model. And finally, we have spoken about it, but the internship for a cause, the youth, exposing youth to the realities and giving them an overarching sense is what we have been trying to do, and that also is a model which can be taken over. But friends, these were our projects and we have touched several lives through it. But I just also wanted to tell you how we have grown with inspiration. When we say we mean the members, we mean the staff, how each of us have grown with inspiration. I vouch that each of our staff are now more socially conscious. Is it so? The people, yeah. So because they are exposed to the realities. Next is, we have become more analytical. We have tried to, at each and every stage, we have tried to identify the cause and effect relationships. We ourselves are bombarded by the whys, WH whys, that why is it happening? That has made us more analytical. We have become more rounded in the sense that, just because we are a very small organization, so each of our projects are kind of exposed to the entire section of staff. Each staff contributes to each other's projects and in the process share and learn. So everybody is getting a holistic perspective of development, and we all know development is about integrated holistic development. We don't just work in one project. We cannot afford to do that because we are small. But learning is immense. We have done that. We have definitely become better team players. Each of us now realize that 2 and 2 makes 6, and united we stand, and united we deliver. Finally, Inspiration has a policy of focusing on 2 very strategic areas. One is encouraging higher education among the staff and encouraging them to have their dwellings strong built. So for education, every leave is granted. For building and strengthening their dwelling, all soft loans are granted. Because we believe that if you have these 2 things, your education and a makan, then any eventualities, you can withstand that. And finally, the most important thing, and that gives us the most satisfaction, is that Inspiration could instill a sense of loyalty, ethics, and integrity among the staff. And each of our staff take pride in it, even if we have to, go through very, very difficult times. It has been quite difficult, but we have not shifted from our ethics and integrity. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I close, I would want to call or coin this 30 years of Inspiration to be ethically 30 years of Inspiration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Das, for sharing the remarkable journey of Hitchley Inspiration, the 30 years, its vision, its growth, its members coming together, and of course, its projects, past and current. We now move on to the felicitation of special guests who have been an integral part of Hitchley Inspiration's 30-year journey. May I invite Dr. Damayanti Mukhopadhyay, Assistant Secretary, Hitchley Inspiration, to kindly come on stage and introduce the guests. May I also request Mr. Dipankar Ghosh, President, Hitchley Inspiration, and Dr. Rupali Dev, Vice President, Hitchley Inspiration, and of course, Secretary Dr. Chandri Das, to kindly join her for this felicitation.
Good afternoon. Throughout our 3-decade-long journey, we have drawn inspiration, received unwavering support, and earned the trust of our clients. On this auspicious occasion, we wish to express our heartfelt gratitude to our very, very special individuals who have been instrumental in shaping who we are today. As a token of our sincere appreciation, we are honored to felicitate them for their invaluable contributions. Let me first begin with Professor S.B. Roy. Professor S.B. Roy, we would like to acknowledge Professor S.B. Roy, Chairman, Indian Institute of Biosocial Research and Development, popularly known as IBRAD, for the important role he has played in shaping our commitment and journey. Witnessing your unwavering dedication to translating vision into action in the pursuit of social development has given us both the inspiration and the confidence to believe that Inspiration too could chart a similar path. We wish to express our sincere gratitude by honoring you as a special guest on this milestone occasion, and we are deeply thankful to you for giving us the opportunity to convey our appreciation in person. May I request our Vice President, Dr. Rupali De, and the Secretary, Dr. Chandri Das, to honor Professor S.B. Roy. May I request Professor S.B. Roy to say a few words on this occasion, Bhagwanda?
I'm not finding words, but it is customary to say my feelings towards inspiration as a team, Chandrai in particular, thought working together for many more years. Just few words. While I was watching the film, some of the activities I knew before. This 30 years is a legendary, not merely set of milestone. It has founded a foundation for the future. And I just say two sentences because people are here to listen. In the age, the way inspiration have worked for the forestry biodiversity, I watched while working on the nutrition and health about the municipal, the environment and conservation. The world is looking for this kind of organization in the name of One Health, where environment, human health, and livestock has to work together. I'm sure the National One Health Mission looking for some organization who will take care of this concept of One Health, and inspiration will come forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We would wish to mention the names of a very few eminent persons who have been instrumental in our growth trajectory, and we would wish to acknowledge them in absentia. They couldn't make it at this point due to their prior or instant engagement, or are not in town. But we felt that a mention is imperative for everyone to know and for inspiration to express its gratitude. Dr. Pradeep Bhattacharya, former Additional Chief Secretary to the Government of West Bengal, author and scholar, for his support during our early years. His thoughtful guidance in implementation of Inspiration's first project in the domain of health when he was heading the department. This has paved the path for our strategic interventions ahead. A clap for Dr. Bhattacharya. Mr. Animesh Bhattacharya, former engineering-in-chief, PhD, for taking an administrative decision in scaling up our pilot initiatives in arsenic mitigation through behavior change communication strategy. Research often remains in documents. Mr. Bhattacharya helped us in taking its learnings and reaching to a wider mass, and we built on it subsequently, taking it to other domains of work. Unfortunately, he is not present. Mr. Jolly Chaudhary, I don't know whether he is present or not in the auditorium. No? Okay. Mr. Jolly Chaudhary, Director SUDA and Special Secretary, Urban Development and Municipal Affairs, for his support, guidance, which is helping us in becoming more proficient in strategic delivery, particularly in the urban space, with its significant implications in
rural areas too. We wish to express our gratitude by honoring Mr. Chaudhary and the entire Suda team. Okay, we will send these honors to their respective offices. And last but not the least, Dr. Monjur Hussain, representing UNICEF. Dr. Monjur Hussain, he is the chief of Kolkata office. UNICEF for the significant role it has played in our journey from early 2000 till date. We thank UNICEF for being an integral part of Hijli Inspiration story spanning 3 decades. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Mukhopadhyay. We now come to the Foundation Day oration, a key moment of reflection and thought in today's program. May I invite Dr. Probal Sengupta, member Hijli Inspiration, to kindly introduce today's speaker, Professor Partho P. Chakraborty. And I would also like to request Mr. Dipankar Ghosh, President, Hijli Inspiration, to felicitate Professor Partho P. Chakraborty, former Director, IIT Kharagpur. It is indeed our honor to invite Professor Chakraborty to deliver the Foundation Day oration. Over to you, Mr. Sengupta.
I'm deeply honored to get this opportunity to welcome Professor Partho P. Chakraborty, who is a senior professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in IIT Kharagpur, where he completed his BTech in 1985 and PhD in 1988. He has been associated with IIT Kharagpur as faculty since 1988 and served as a director from 2013 to 2019. He also held additional charge as director of IIT Patna and IIT Kalyani. At IIT Kharagpur, Professor Chakraborty has played a pivotal role in institution building, including setting up the VLSI Design Laboratory, the incubation program, and serving as Dean of Sponsored Research and Industrial Consultancy and head of the Advanced Technology Development Center. He was also co-director of the General Motors IIT Kharagpur Collaborative Research Laboratory. His research interests span artificial intelligence, algorithms, automated reasoning, VLSI CAD, embedded systems, and fault tolerance. He has made fundamental contributions in AI and automated reasoning with applications in synthesis, optimization, and verification. He has authored 2 research monographs, published over 300 international research papers, and supervised more than 30 PhD scholars. Professor Chakraborty has led large-scale research collaborations with the government and industry, executing projects worth several hundred crores with agencies like MHRD, DST, CSIR, MIT, and organizations including Intel, Google, Synopsys, General Motors, Volkswagen Foundation, and ONGC. He was the founding architect and overall coordinator of major national initiatives, including the National Digital Library of India, GIAN, Spark, Imprint, and the Pan IIT ONGC initiative. I welcome Professor Chakraborty, who also happens to be one of my very close friends, to the dais.
I think he will change.
আপনি করবেন এখানে করে দিচ্ছি এটা তো ফুল স্ক্রিন হয়নি কিন্তু প্যারাল করেন
What is this screen called?
ফুল স্ক্রিন করো কন্ট্রোল এল করো
What do you want?
কন্ট্রোল ফার্স্ট ইজ টু গেট ইট ব্লক অফ স্ক্রিন
PDF, PPT version.
পাশেরটা আসছে কেন ওটা ক্লিক করুন এটা শুনে যাবে ক্লিক করুন এবারে ক্লিক করুন হ্যাঁ এটা তুমি কিসে চালাচ্ছ পিডিএফ তো কিসে চালাচ্ছ পিডিএফটা চালাচ্ছ কিসে অ্যাক্রোব্যাটে চালাচ্ছ না সাইটে চালিয়েছো সাইটে চালিয়েছো না এটা তো কন্ট্রোলে চলে ওই পাশের গুলো কি আছে স্যার আপনি কন্ট্রোলের না না এখন তো হয়ে গেছে কি বলছে ওখানে পাশে
রিসেন্ট শেয়ার
ক্রোমে চালিয়েছো তোর মেশিনে নেই হ্যাঁ মেশিনে
এটা পিডিএফটা ডেস্কটপে আছে
হ্যাঁ
ডেস্কটপে নিয়ে ডেস্কটপ থেকে নিয়ে নেবে না
ডেস্কটপেই আছে
কোথায়
আমাকে দাও
Good evening, everybody. Namaskar. And at the outset, I would like to inform everybody that other than that long biodata, which I myself have forgotten, Hijli Inspiration was developed next door to my house, where we had open house. So the days when brainstorming and everything else started with a vision, and it is such a pleasure and privilege that when Chandri asked me to give this Foundation Day lecture, I realized that it was an honor and a fulfillment that is extremely delightful and pleasing, that it is not possible for me to explain it in words. I did not have the courage to start talking about development to people like you all, with Chandri, the Govanda and all sitting in front of me. So I took a different route. So I will start with something today that is affecting our lives, which is more powerful than the emergence of electricity, the printing press, and the internet all put together. Next slide. Knowledge is developed in 5 or 6 phases. The first phase of knowledge development is called observation. People observe nature, human behavior, and everything else. And it is from observations that no knowledge to new knowledge comes. Whether it is electricity, whether it is relativity, or whatever it is. And then people convert it into theories. Whether it's a theory of science or whether it's a theory of social change. And then from theory comes action. And the most important and the most less considered item in this whole process, where all the top elements are lauded, is the painstaking, continuous improvements that go on taking place to bring something which is an esoteric idea to everyday. But as knowledge grew, we human beings thought that we do not have the capacity for all of us, for each one of us to gather all kinds of knowledge. And therefore we started dividing knowledge. We divided it into science, arts, social science, then physics, chemistry, biology, then physical chemistry, chemical physics, biochemical physics, mathematical, biochemical, computational physics. And all of us became super experts in such narrow fields that we forgot how one field affects the other. This is where optimization of one dimension caused exploitation of the other. And that creation of a divided knowledge society produced super experts, super confident of their work, but totally ignorant of 99% of everything else. Then came computation. Computation became the spouse of every discipline. Computational physics, computational chemistry, computational social science, computational arts, computational humanities, which means that it became such a universal thing that it started being able to provide every discipline. And Chandri talked about data, Chandri talked about model. It provided every discipline with a handle to simulate, to examine, to look at the future and predict. But that wasn't enough because it was the spouse of every discipline on its own. Next. Then comes this word which I think every rickshaw puller, shoe shiner, everybody else knows, and everybody from top to bottom, including myself, don't understand it properly. It's called artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence addressed the following problem. It says that all of us want to look at a problem and find a solution to the problem. But like human beings, can we find a method or an approach by which, given a description of any problem, I will be able to find a solution? That means I am looking for a meta method, which means that I don't want to write a separate program for Google Maps, or a separate method for chess playing, or a separate method for timetable scheduling, or a separate method for solving symbolic equations. But I want to describe these problems, and I want to develop a method which solves all problems. All problems does not mean trying to understand why your wife got angry. Computer will never be able to understand. But generally, I mean all problems that are considered reasonably solvable. Next. And what happened was, the idea was that I will gather and integrate all knowledge which has been bifurcated so long, trifurcated so long, and be able to connect the dots. I should be able to find out how Newton's laws of motion work in society. When we consider the word flows, you will see the word flow is studied in architecture to physics. The flows are studied in economics. somebody connect all of them. To connect all of them, you need a discipline that is able to look at integrated knowledge and an integrated method of problem solving. Most of computation or mathematics or physics want to look at closed form equations, solutions, but large number of problems in this world do not have closed form solutions. They don't even have equations to solve. They are so interconnected, so complex. And artificial intelligence tackle this problem head on. We want to solve this problem. Next slide. And over the years, like every great philosophy has a star. Have you noticed? Every great philosophy has a star with something inside, whether it's a religious philosophy or social philosophy. This is the star of AI. I have designed. The triangle, the normal triangle, are the three legs of AI. In order to solve any problem, I need to have a mechanism to represent any problem. How will I represent any problem? Secondly, if I am able to represent any problem, then what is that generic method to solve that any problem in that general representation? Whether it's a social problem, whether it's a physics problem, whether it's a timetable scheduling problem, whether it's a designing of a speech written by somebody problem, etc. And the third thing, which was not there in any of origin of computation, was being able to solve it better every time you did it again and again and again. So that is called learning. And over the years till now, there have been three directional approaches. First was the standard step-by-step approach. The step-by-step approach is what we all know. If I have to go there, if I have to go to Kharagpur, then I have to get out of this room, go to the station, book a ticket, go to the station, etc. But when we have problems which have got large amount of incomplete data, then you look at statistics. And you use statistics to try and find solutions, because real world solutions do not have crisp answers. They have answers which have got, this is the best possible, will give the best possible outcome, and so on and so forth. But still, the other problem which was not addressed till now was the problem as follows. If I give you a photograph of Professor S.B. Roy, you will look at it, or Dr. Chandra Das. You look at it and say, oh, this is Dr. Chandra Das, or this is Dr. S.B. Roy. And if I ask you, how did you say it is Dr. S.B. Roy? You will write 200 pages but not be able to explain to me. Which means, whereas past methods of computation were all step by step, and the explanation was straightforward because it came from the steps, the current method of computation is instantaneous, but the explanation is almost impossible to give. The only way you can give explanation is by saying that it is like all other photographs of this person. But that is not sufficient. I assure you that if I give you a picture of Dr. Chandra Das when she was 5 years old, you will recognize it even if you have not seen her when she was 5 years old. That is led to the search for finding solution to that problem. And in order to find solution to that problem, people looked at a model of the human brain and they created what is called these connections models. And each of these models together form a representation, a reasoning, and a learning mechanism. This representation, there is no magic in AI. AI is simply math and computing. All it does is it takes all this data that we have, all the algorithms that we have, and converts it to a billion dimension space, where every point in a space is every piece of knowledge that you have. It's a trillion dimension space. The space, in terms of its size, is 1/10 of another space that is available with us, which is the number of neuronal connections. So the number of neuronal connections that a human being has is 10 times the dimension of the space of current AI models. So current AI models take problems in this billion, trillion dimension space, and then, I don't want to go into details, but then convert it to algorithms to solve this problem. Next slide. And by this, what have we achieved? Gary, today, the best chess player human chess player in the world is probably 65th or 66th or maybe 112th, and all others are computers. Today, we are able to converse and chat with elements, and after some time we think that it's very, very smart. We are able to move robots, we are able to do surgery, and this has come out because of 3 technological advances. Computation has become free. The compute power in your mobile phone is more powerful than the best computer 10 years ago. The amount of storage in the world's largest garbage bins in the world are your mobile phones. They're the largest, you don't even know what is there. And communication has become free. We are watching movies, we are not used to it. The only problem that is the bottleneck today is power, energy. That is why we have to charge our phones. The day this energy becomes solved, imagine you never have to charge your phone anymore. Imagine your energy is free. We will get to the next dimension. Next comes this magic of what everybody thinks is next is ChatGPT. So let me give you a cartoonist view of what it is. All it has done, it has converted all the knowledge of the world, whatever is available, through ethical and unethical means. And I can explain to you later on how unethically it has been done, to this representation. And this representation is called the encoder model. What does it do? If you give it a picture of a person, it will say this is a male, this is about 60 years old, this person is walking, etc. So this is the encoder or the predictive model. You played a song, it will say Kishore Kumar. Or if you played a song, it will say it's a male voice, female voice, whatever. But the reverse, which is the decoder, is very interesting. The reverse is, if I say song Kishore Kumar, it will generate a song sung by Kishore Kumar. So if you give the song lyrics and you say, give me in the voice of Kishore Kumar, it will generate it in the voice of Kishore Kumar. So that is what is generative AI. And therefore, we have now in an era where all the knowledge in the world is encoded and a mechanism is there to creatively produce things. Whether it is a solution to a problem or whether you want to hear a speech of Subhash Chandra Bose in the voice of Vivekananda, all of this is possible. And why is human being scared? Human beings are scared because every time technology reduced human beings' effort, human beings were happy. Which human beings were happy? The rich human beings were happy. Those whose lives depended on that manual effort, they were not happy because they lost their livelihoods because of automation. But now the rich people are unhappy. The educated people are unhappy. Why? Because AI on any topic can think, write, produce, and articulate better than the average individual. So it can write better poetry than you can write. But it is the other way around also. It has democratized knowledge. Previously, knowledge was available only to a few internet provided information. But now, your power of creativity, you think you are an artist, but you cannot draw, you want to draw. Now you can draw. So it has democratized things to an extent that it has touched human beings' most prized possession, your power of thinking and your power of creativity. Next. Let me give you some glimpses. Next. AI took they read all research papers on chemical equations. And this AI did not know which is what. They just took their names down, everybody has different symbols, and it was told that whatever you know about these elements, try to cluster them together in a tabular form. And what AI produced is unimaginable. Can you tell me what AI produced? It produced the periodic table. The periodic table is considered one of humanity's greatest innovations. Next. The first AI-generated book, technical book, is considered the most authoritative book on that topic, better than any human being could get. Next. AI was trained on all knowledge up to 2019 on thermoelectric materials, 2009, and asked to predict the next material. It predicted 5, of which 3 were discovered by humans in 2012. What took human beings 3 years to develop was instantaneously produced by AI. Next. Today, an ordinary student can sit down and design a rocket and also an atom bomb. Next. They looked at machine tools running and just looked at the data and came out with all the welding laws which are discovered by human beings. In fact, Newton's laws have also been rediscovered just from data, but in a different form. Not identical to what Newton said. Language is different, but the idea is the same. Next. This guy, Matteo Paes, an 18-year-old person, he just used the data and AI models to discover 1.5 million space objects in a period of 1 year in NASA. Next. It takes one PhD scholar in IIT for 5 years to unveil a protein structure. The latest AI tool unveiled 200 million protein structures in one go, which means almost every protein that is known, which means 1 billion man-years of work. Next. And therefore, all the Nobel Prize winners in physics, chemistry, economics, biology are going to go to AI researchers, or they in collaboration with them. Agriculture. Today, companies don't sell you tractors, they give you the tractor. For that, you have to give them the data. And once you give them the data, they know everything about your farm. They'll give you the tractor for free. Next. And human beings are able to do hundreds of things. Next. Then we come to human in the loop AI. Next. So people are able to gauge emotion, expression, etc., etc. But as I said, don't try to find out use AI to find out your wife's feelings. Just looking at eye tracking, looking at people are able to really gauge many things, of which, go to the next slide. A person cannot speak. Just looking at the brain MRI images, they are reading or producing sentences of what this person is thinking. Next. We think these are beyond AI. Of course, Tagore is beyond AI, God, Ramkinkar is beyond AI, nobody can be like me, etc. Next. You will now get from the standard companies music, which is almost identical to Bach. They produced a painting of Rembrandt, new, which no expert is able to find out a single flaw that it does not contain the strokes of Rembrandt. Next. There's the other side. Now this AI has been trained to become human. And once AI has been trained to become human, few of these AI robots decided that we are being made to work too much. So they went on strike. Next. Then every great power, whether it's nuclear or whether it's electricity, comes with the other side. And with this great power of AI, we have the other side. Next. All of us know that if you talk to somebody about a particular sari in WhatsApp, and when you browse Google, you are getting sari ads. But have you observed that WhatsApp is owned by Meta and Google is owned by Google? And they are supposed to be competitors and rivals, but that is to you. They are there to rule the world. Everything about you is known. If you don't download that app and don't allow all your contacts to be provided, slowly all features of that app will not be available to you. You try? I have tried. So everything about you is known. Everything. Next. Next comes the other side. Look at this picture. Looking at this picture, we think the blue lines are all not straight, slanted. But if you measure them, they are straight. Because this is an optical illusion. AI will not have this optical illusion. But the reverse is true. Next slide. AI has its own illusions. If I take a picture of a pig and change 30-40 pixels, AI will think it's an airline or something else. Whereas human being thinks it's still a pig. So which means that AI has illusions that human beings don't. Which means that I can attack AI such that when your car sees a red signal, your AI is attacked and few pixels are changed and it is interpreted as green. Therefore, systems will go into complete disaster. Let me assure you that many of our systems are like that already. Next. So AI really needs to be made different, trustworthy, explainable, and so on. AI is still a toddler, very powerful but very dangerous, unless you know how to use it. Next. The future of learning, the future of work, it impacts every aspect of science. It impacts your privacy, security, personhood, liberty, liability. When two cars, AI cars, kill somebody, who is responsible? Intellectual property. The main thing that will affect us is personhood. When AI is embedded in you and Google Glass or any AI glass takes your decisions, then you will not know who is deciding. Next. We all know about the bias of AI. The AI is biased for its data, essentially for the rich people. Next. Whose problem is AI solving? AI is probably trying to solve problems for those who already have enough and can pay for it. Is it solving fundamental problems that are really needed for social transformation? The point is that technology which is used for determining whether a human being on the computer likes a shirt with a large collar or a small collar, whether this is the price this person will pay, whether this person will click this link, is the same technology that can be used to determine who should get the benefit, targeted benefit, like targeted drug delivery, targeted benefit of a government scheme. The same technology can be used, but it is not being used. Next. So what is the opportunity for India? Next. I don't need to talk about these 17 items to you, but let me tell you, the opportunity is to be able to use AI to empower people who actually can benefit out of it, leapfrog and get up. For that, you need a few steps. But if we do not do that, we should be aware that the rich countries like the United States, which till 3 years ago used to have 33% of the world's total profit, if you consider the total profit, where it goes. Today, with the advent of AI, it has 43%, and this will only grow. Therefore, the opportunity that has come is to be able to see, when you had a potter who was making pots physically, once you provided them electricity, they became free, they used their brains, and then they started becoming more creative. This is where AI is to be applied. AI is to be applied in these sectors of education, in the sector of creativity. Take AI head on. Make sure that we are able to utilize AI and make people more creative. It is only then we will be able to touch upon these words. And I will give you a few examples of our experiments with it. Next slide. Education. Education is completely changed. And in the next 2 years, you will see tools coming up which will enable students talk to students, because it is the most patient teacher in the world. Never gets angry. Will explain 200 times in 200 different ways. Give you an example of Einstein's theory of relativity using a joke. Do you know Einstein's theory of relativity using a joke? Einstein himself was asked. Einstein was working in this advanced institute in Princeton, and one boy and a girl came and asked him, "Can you, sir, we are from English literature, can you explain to us what is relativity? We don't even understand equation." And he says, "It's very simple. The answer is like this." He asked him, he told the boy that if I sit with your girlfriend for 1 minute, to you it is 1 hour. But if you sit with your girlfriend for 1 hour, to you it is 1 minute. It's always in the frame of reference. So AI will give you such explanations. You just try it. It will do assessment. It will do everything. We ourselves are working on tools and we will bring them out very soon. Next. In the area of technology, it's all about convergence. AI, as I said before, will integrate disciplines. Next slide. Here are 4 things we did: sustainable food security, science and heritage, signals and systems for life science, and the future of cities. Very successful. Next. So in the food system, integrated end to end from production to delivery, including everywhere. Next. Urban observatories, and I would recommend that inspiration comes up with this concept of an observatory. Whichever domain you are working on, you come up with this concept of an observatory, how you are going to gather data, strategies, and things like that. Next. The whole ecosystem for managing climate change. Next. We developed this very interesting system for rural development, how to collect data and how to analyze and translate it. Next. Whether it's mountains or rivers or culture or language or literature, arts, crafts, AI has got the potential to uplift an ordinary person and make this person capable of doing almost as good as the top 80% on that field. Next. Next. This used to be written, all of us because usually inspiration came out of Kharagpur. Whenever you get out of Kharagpur station, it's not there anymore. You walk up the stairs and turn around, you will see this written, Gandhiji's talisman, which says that whenever in doubt, when self becomes too much with you, apply the following test. Is it applicable to the poorest of the poor, the most unempowered person? Next. So human-centric AI, and I would recommend, hearing whatever I heard from Dr. Chandra Das here today. The methods that you have, the strategies that you mentioned for each of your methods, for each of them, in order to convert it into a scalable, knowledge-driven methodology, which large number of people all over the world can use and translate, you can convert into what are called small language models. Very well-defined models for very well-defined action tasks. Because of the amount of knowledge, experience, and evidence that you all have. And we can collect for others, and I would recommend, and we are all willing to help, because the inspiration was born out of IIT Kharagpur. And as long as at least I am there, I'm very happy to produce for you these very domain-specific experts, which can assist your ordinary field worker or anybody else out in the field in a much, much better way and create these models. Again, I'm grateful. Firstly, it is my extreme pleasure that Inspiration has gone 30 years. We were 30-ish when Inspiration was started. Mashima was 60-ish. Today she is 90-ish and we are 60-ish. And I hope and pray that this generation will be able to hand over to Inspiration to a larger generation, a much wider generation. But I would again recommend that use AI effectively, because this is what nobody is doing properly. And we have this opportunity to create very, very niche models that will scale not only across this country, but across the world. And I'm willing to put my effort into this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Chakraborty. We'll now break for health and tea break. Let's all have a quick bite and come back in 10 minutes. And just to let you know that during the break, the audiovisual presentation showcasing 30 years of Hijli Inspiration will be screened once again for those who have missed it at the very beginning. So let's break for tea now. And let's all try to come back within 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you very much.
An idea was born in Hijli, IIT Kharagpur, with a strong belief that appropriate strategies backed by strong.
Sorry, I'm told that some guests could not register. So we would request, if you haven't registered with us, please go to the registration desk and get yourself registered. Thank you.
Traffic jam, traffic jam.
Three decades of inspiration, carrying out sector-specific interventions shaped by local and community needs. Such interventions have established Inspiration's footprint across every district of West Bengal, with work extending to other parts of India. Inspiration has also had the opportunity to work with a wide range of state and national government departments, international agencies, and academics.
The 30 years of journey unfolded in three phases. The first phase was planning, the second decade was refining, and the third decade is on consolidated partnerships. Partnerships with the government, with the corporates, with social organizations, with our social products and strategies.
From remote villages to urban slums, Hijli Inspiration has been the bridge between need and solution. between data and precision.
Of the last 3 decades, inspiration is walking alongside giants. Not above, not ahead, but with. And in the process, we are touching millions of lives.
Bridging the Divide, Inspiration's longest running education initiative in urban slums, where basic living conditions pose an everyday challenge for parents to support child education, has empowered first-generation learners through foundational learning and upgrading to digital education.
Emotion is all right.
Book and device-based Congo Reading is the latest initiative that Inspiration has adopted to strengthen its foundational level.
One of many health initiatives is the Inspiration's Tuberculosis Health Action Learning Initiative, PALI, embedded health interventions within wider systems, integrating urban slum communities and informal workers through coordinated care, nutritional support guidelines, and institutional convergence. Nutrition has always been an area of core focus, from participatory convergent institutional planning at the Anandwari Center level to strengthening nutrition behavior in urban slums during and post COVID-19, with special focus on mother and child. Water quality management initiatives reached over 200,000 people across districts of West Bengal and generated scalable strategies like behavior change communication and dietary reorientation for fluoride mitigation with international recognition.
Whether tackling fluoride toxicity or tuberculosis recovery, Inspiration's programs for dietary planning have shown that food is not just about sustenance, but also a strategy for recovery from tuberculosis as well as mitigation of fluoride toxicity.
In sanitation, Inspiration has played a multifarious role across West Bengal, supporting Swachh Bharat Mission efforts in select districts and strengthening sanitation systems across 128 urban local bodies, piloting and developing community-led strategies for operations and maintenance of community toilets. Inspiration demonstrated scalable and sustainable models adopted by urban local bodies across West Bengal.
যেভাবে আমরা আমাদের কমিউনিটিগুলোকে গ্রো করতে পেরেছি আমাদের সোসাইটিতে, তো সেই জায়গায় আমরা ভেরি মাচ হ্যাপি। ধন্যবাদ জানাবো তারপরে যে ইন্সপিরেশন রয়েছে তাদের ইনভলভমেন্ট ছাড়া, যে গাইডেন্স ছাড়া আমরা এটাকে ফুলফিল করতে পারতাম না।
ছাত্রছাত্রীদের প্রতিদিন একজন একজন করে করা হয় পরিষ্কার, যখন পৌরসভা থেকে লোক আসে ওরা করে, আর না হলে আমরা করি।
We have co-created community-based models for operations and maintenance.
এখন তারা ভালোভাবে মেনটেন্স করছে, খুব সুন্দরভাবে ব্যবহার করছে, আগামী তারা এটাই ধরে রাখবে কাজ করবে।
In solid waste management, Inspiration has provided technical hand-holding and operational support to select urban local bodies, turning policy frameworks into practical, sustainable urban services. In the livelihood domain, Inspiration has worked across multiple initiatives, from WBADMIP to NRLM. Under WBADMIP, the organization focused on strengthening farmer livelihoods by supporting capacity development and livelihood diversification.
Indeed, the farmers saw, learned, and adopted these into practices.
While SAG initiatives fostered women's economic empowerment through financial literacy, enterprise development, and market linkages. While gender has always been a cross-cutting priority, recent years have seen a sharper focus on climate resilience and youth. Through the Green Panchayat for Sustainable Development Initiative, Simple, local, climate smart practices such as kitchen gardens and organic farming have strengthened climate resilience in rural West Bengal, and the eco clubs at the school level have also been a powerful tool for nurturing climate awareness.
Wind is a solution for climate resilience.
Mobilizing youth for sustainable development has emerged as a key focus area for inspiration. Flagship initiatives like the Smile Twin e-learning program empowered urban first-generation learners for employment. Inspiration has curated meaningful internship pathways, an internship for a cause model that builds skills, purpose, and social responsibility among young people. Over the years, Inspiration has engaged with some of India's key national and state government programs across rural and urban contexts. This engagement has supported planning, implementation, and monitoring processes aligned with public policy priorities. Inspiration's contribution to system strengthening has been anchored in research studies, strategic inputs, capacity building initiatives, trainings, and technical support translated into reports, frameworks, and actionable guidance. 30 years of work driven by teams and a shared purpose.
Actually, the journey of inspiration is a testimony of sustainable development goals for India and building partnerships all around.
Analytical,
Ethical,
communicative, adaptive,
inclusive, dynamic, knowledge, collaborating, transparency, inspiring,
compassionate, teamwork, partnership, transformative.
Inspiration. Together we learn. Together we build. Together we achieve.
আমার তো টাইম লাগবে তো লেগে গেছিল কোথায় কোথায় লেগেছিল ওকে হাতের ফোড়াটা দেখতে ওটাতে না একটু প্রেস করে স্কিনটা লাগিয়ে রাখতে হাতে ফোড়াটা সবাই ঠিক হয়ে যাবে পুরো পরিষ্কার
Please, your session is coming up.
Hope it's been a good session so far. And we're looking forward to starting the technical session. Would request all our guests to enjoy the tea coffee break and quickly come in. Please take your seats.
ফেলিসিটেট করব মানে গলায় গামছা পরে
So we now begin the technical session, which brings together voices from academia, industry, skill development, and youth engagement, reflecting the spirit of today's theme, Youth in Focus, Inclusive Development in Action. I would request Secretary and member Dr. Chandri Das and Dr. Prabal Sengupta to please be on stage for felicitating our esteemed moderator, the learned panelists, and insightful voices team. We are honored to have with us Professor Partha Pratim Das from Ashoka University as moderator for this evening. May I request member Dr. Prabal Sengupta to do the honors. We are honored to have with us Professor Partha Pratim Das from Ashoka University as moderator for this evening. With a distinguished career spanning academia and industry, Professor Das has been associated with IIT Kharagpur for several years and has contributed significantly to areas such as digital learning, data science, and national knowledge initiatives. We are delighted to have him guide today's discussions. We would now invite our panelists on stage. Our first panelist for this evening is Professor Cheryl Francis, Director, Social Work and NSS, St. Xavier's College. May I request Secretary Hijli Inspiration to do the honors. With over 3 decades of experience in social work and youth development, Professor Francis has mentored generations of students in leadership, community engagement, and social responsibility. Today, she continues to shape meaningful youth action through institutional and grassroots initiatives. Inviting next, Professor Abhijit Giri, Senior Vice President CDC and Director of Alumni Relations, Adamas University. May I request Secretary Hijli Inspiration to do the honors. With over 20 years of professional experience across education, skills, and industry engagement, Professor Giri works closely on bridging academia with employability, corporate partnerships, and alumni-led development initiatives. You may please take your seats. Inviting next, Mr. Manoj Joshi, Director and Trustee, George Group of Colleges, the George Telegraph Group, to please join us on stage. May I request member Dr. Prabal Sengupta to please do the honors. An edupreneur and chartered accountant by profession, Mr. Joshi has spent over 2 decades strengthening educational institutions and skill training ecosystems with a strong focus on employability, sustainability, and industry relevance. Inviting our 4th panelist for the evening, Dr. Poroma Bhomik, Associate Professor, Jadavpur University. May I request Secretary Hijli Inspiration to do the honors. A researcher and academician with extensive work in information technology and distributed computing, Dr. Bhomik has guided multiple doctoral scholars and actively contributes to research, training, and academic leadership while remaining deeply engaged with student development. Finally, we invite our fifth and last panelist for this evening, Dr. Oshmita De, Associate Dean, Academic Affairs, Techno India University. Dr. De will be felicitated by member Dr. Sengupta. With a background in mathematics and a strong commitment to mentorship, Dr. De works at the intersection of education, creativity, and youth engagement, creating inclusive learning spaces that encourage confidence, expression, and independent thinking. Thank you for joining us. I hand over to Shohini here.
May I invite Dr. Rupali De, Vice President, Hijli Inspiration, to kindly join us on stage for the felicitation of our segment, which is titled Insightful Voices, where we will hear practitioners working closely with government, communities, sustainability, and youth-led change. The first speaker of this segment is Dr. Mo Sen. May I invite Dr. Mo Sen on stage, please? She's the Joint Director, Department of MSME and Textiles, Government of West Bengal, with nearly 3 decades of experience in MSME development, entrepreneurship, and sustainable livelihoods. Dr. Sen brings deep insights from policy, practice, and grassroots engagement. The next speaker, Ms. Antara Ray, who is a climate, resilience, and sustainability advisor with PwC. With over 2 decades of experience across consulting, academia, and government advisory, her work focuses on climate resilience, disaster risk management, and sustainable infrastructure. Dr. Rupali De, doing the honors along with Dr. Chandray Das, Secretary Hijli Inspiration. Our next speaker, Ms. Ananya Bhattacharya. May I request Ms. Ananya to please come up on stage. Ms. Ananya Bhattacharya, social entrepreneur and co-founder of BanglaNatok.com, working at the intersection of culture, gender, and sustainability. She has been instrumental in developing inclusive, community-led models of development and creative economies. Dr. Rupali De, may I request you to do the honors, please? We also have with us Mr. Shoroveshwar Sen, educator, mentor, and founder mentor of Catalyst Learning Services. Mr. Sen, please. Yeah. His work centers on guiding young people towards meaningful careers in the social sector, combining humanities, climate action, and social entrepreneurship. With this, I hand over the session to our moderator, Professor Partha Protim Das, and panelists for a rich and engaging discussion.
Good evening. Let me first start by congratulating Hijli Inspiration on completing 30 ethical years. A vision that was dreamt on the campus of IIT Kharagpur has transformed into spearheading healthy development of India. what we call Vikshit Bharat. Welcome you all to the panel discussion on pathways for leveraging youth energy to harness India's democratic advantage, where we have experts representing a range of educational institutions in the state, St. Xavier's College, Jadavpur University, Adamas University, Techno India University, and the George Telegraph Training Institute. They will share their perspectives with us, educate us on how to move forward. And I from Ashoka University and Esqual, formerly from IIT system, have the honor to moderate this session. In a novel twist to the typical structure of panel discussion, the organizers have arranged for a group of luminaries as insightful voices. You also see them on the stage. They represent from government, private sector, academia, and civil society. So we'll start with what is customary. I'll start as a moderator with a few opening remarks, setting the stage for the discussion, and then we will request every panelist to talk for about 5 to 7 minutes on their respective take on the topic, and then we'll hear the reactions from the insightful voices before we open up to the audience for questions. Now, if we look into the motion of the panel today, I'll go over that motion once more. Pathways for leveraging youth energy to harness India's democratic advantage. So we are particularly referring about 2 major areas to work on. One is the whole process of harnessing of youth energy is the central idea of the education system. And the other is the democratic advantage, which more commonly referred to India as democratic dividend. So I would like to spend a little time looking over the evolution of Indian education system. So if we just go back into India, what the deep past that India has in the education system, we know the pre-colonial era had traditional Indian education, which happened to be the world's largest decentralized education system, which had gurukuls, tolls, Vishwavidyalayas, madrasas, maktabs, pathshalas, and all of that. But most importantly, the education was contextual, vocational, philosophical, religious, delivered in multiple languages of India, starting from Sanskrit to Parsi and to regional, and dwelt on wide range of knowledge domains, starting from philosophy, science, arts, and all of that. It was community funded, importantly, and not state centralized. I'm just trying to bring in some of these points so that it gives a framework of where do we stand today to address. Then colonial interventions disrupted and westernized the education with deliberate and political motives. We know many of these instruments now. Macaulay Minutes, 1835 to East India Company Education Policy to Wood's Dispatch and so on. The focus was to advocate English education, devalue Indian knowledge system, create universities model after the British style, and primarily to build workforce to serve the administration. So we can see the transformations that went through, and the emphasis shifted from imparting knowledge to examinations, degrees, conformity, and all that. So India became independent. And for the first about 20 years, 50s and 60s, India focused on basic nation building, creating institutions like IITs, IIMs, AIMS, UGC, and so on, focusing on science and technology. Lagged in the education for the masses, schools grossly diverged in their quality, and so on. The following 30 years, 70s to 90s, can be called the expansion without quality period in India, where we just wanted to focus on a lot of massive growth in terms of colleges, teacher workforce, expanded access through reservation, and so on. The result was evident that led to rote learning, outdated curriculum, weak research programs, and inflation of degrees. The following 15 years, the beginning of the millennium, was focused primarily on right-based and inclusive education movements. Sarva Shiksham Abhijan, right to education, and so on, which led to gross increase in the GER, the gross enrollment rate, but significant reduction in the quality as per repeated SR reports. Right, so you can see the evolving scenario. India could provide access to this, but not the real learning. And then since 2025, it has been digital. We heard Professor Chakraborty on AI in education and for education and so on. We have Swayam, Diksha, National Digital Library, EdTech, Startup, Skill India, and so on. It has created a new set of confusion, global to local conflict, coding skills versus fundamental learning, and so on. So that's where we stand. Coming to the other aspect, what we have recently gained in the recent few years as the biggest workforce in the world. So what we call the demographic dividend. Our median age is about 28 years. And mind you, I would like to really underline this, that this advantage of being the largest workforce or dividend is for about 20 years. If you look at the projection rates, by 2045, we will start losing out on this. So there's short time to act. So in this context, education is now existential, not optional. I mean, you get educated or you perish is what we are talking about. So in this context, I would request all my esteemed panelists and subsequently the insightful voices to dwell on the three key pathway areas that the organizers have highlighted. Pathways of capacity building, which is energizing youth through stronger human capital, the core part of it. Pathway of employment readiness, that is converting youth potential into actual productivity, which we have always talked about. And pathway of collaboration and co-creation, so that we can enable the youth to thrive in the ecosystem. I will now request my panelists to one by one share their perspective. I think we'll simply go by the seating order. So I would first request Professor Cheryl Francis. If you please sit down and say. I moved on because the light was coming very hard on me at that point. So please for 5 to 7 minutes you can share your perspective.
A very good evening to all present here, my esteemed dignitaries on stage and off stage, and my dear young students from different colleges, including mine, are here in the audience. Since I have just 5 minutes, I'm just going to share with you this whole youth in focus, inclusive development in action, and we at St. Xavier's, how we have managed to channelize this energy. We all know when we say the word youth, for me at least, youth and its synonym is energy. So how we have channelized this energy into very constructive output, and that is in the year 2006. I'm sure most of us sitting here would know the present Vice Chancellor of St. Xavier's University, Reverend Dr. John Felix Raj, who was the principal of St. Xavier's College. So in 2006, he just walked into the classroom and he challenged the students sitting there and said that you are the privileged ones sitting here today in this classroom. What can you do for those who cannot even dream of going to school? So they said, okay, please tell us what we can do. So he asked them, can you save 1 rupee a day? So they said, okay, we'll save 5 rupees a day, 10. He said, no, save 1 rupee a day. And what will you do with that 1 rupee a day? And so that's how was born this project called Prayas, College to Village, Village to College. And every student contributed 1 rupee a day. And with that, we adopted 2 villages because we at St. Xavier's stress a lot on rural development. And we feel as an educational institution, the best thing that we can give to the society is education at all levels. The privileged, are already being educated and those who are looking up to it. So that's how this whole project began, and we adopted 2 villages with that. And it didn't stop there. So what we did, we took these students and told them, come and see what's happening to your 1 rupee. And this project also, became known as the 1 rupee revolution, as some students would call it. And so we would take the students to these villages and spend 2 nights in the village with the children. And what we did with that money was, whatever the need for the children was in that village, sometimes it was building a toilet for a government school, or in a boarding school, they needed some infrastructure facilities. So this money would be spent for that purpose. And slowly it grew, it became popular among students, they started enjoying it, and they realized the value of that 1 rupee. Actually for them, it was nothing. But it meant so much more to those who didn't have anything at all. And so from 2, it became 4 and 5, and then we went on to 12 villages in South 24 Parganas, Bankura, Hooghly, all these areas. And once a year, we would bring these village children to our college, and we still do it. We bring them for 3 days, they are with us, they are with our students, and our students spend 2 to 3 days with them. They are exposed to our college, and they are also told that it's not such a great deal to come and study in St. Xavier's College. If you are good, if you are willing to study, St. Xavier's College is always with you. And like that, we had students from the rural community coming and taking admissions without fear, and we walked through with them to ensure that they are well settled in the campus. And so from 2006, every holiday, every Sunday, our students would go to these villages and educate parents, especially parents, to ensure that their children don't drop out of school so that they continue higher education. So on one of the occasions, the rural community people asked us, you are asking us to go to college. Where is the college? Okay, our girls have to travel 12 kilometers, 15 kilometers, and we are not sure of their safety as well. And so at that time, respected Father Felix Raj, who was the principal, said in lines with Swami Vivekananda, and he said, if you cannot come to college, the college will go to you. And that's how we have the rural campus at Raghavpur, St. Xavier's rural campus, that was established in 2014. I'm sure you must be knowing about it as well. And today we have all subjects that are offered there as well. It's one college, and so the rural students who are studying there they are students of St. Xavier's College. We don't call them rural campus students and main campus students, they're all students. So this was the achievement that we've had, but the hard work of the youth, here is where I want to share with you how these young people, rain, thunder, storm, St. Xavier's that you don't, it's not that you go out of this portals of this college with a big degree stamped St. Xavier's, but you go back as a good human being. You go back wherever you are, but you will always spare a thought for those who are left far behind. And in our country like India, I'm sure most of you, all of you will agree with me that the disparity is so wide. Those who reach the top, the percentage is very small, but those who are left, the percentage is very, very huge. And that's why Father used to say that if every college in the country can adopt one village, I think we will all walk together. Because if only a small percentage of the population achieve big degrees and reach to the top, but if the majority is left far behind, I don't think that country we can call a developed country. So we hope and we wish in this manner that by 2047, that we will say that India is a developed country. We want to say that. And for that, it is these young people who have to be trusted, who have to be taken along, and it is they who are going to lead this nation today. So I think I just wanted to share this little case study with all of you and an example of what our young people are capable of doing. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Francis. It was really nice to learn. I request Professor Giri for his comments.
Thank you so much. And so at the outset, let me congratulate Inspiration First for completing a 30 years of journey and 30 years of ethical contribution to the society and community in large. It's a great job, and we all sincerely appreciate the effort of 30 years that you have contributed to the society. Thank you so much for the moderator, esteemed panelists of the dais and of the dais, my dear students of different college, universities are present here. Coming to the context of the today's panel motion, topic that has been given, that the demographic dividend of India. Of course, India is in a position today, is just entered probably 10 years before entering into this demographic dividend zone, and probably is going to continue till 2025. And then, of course, slowly the demographic dividend aspect is going to get declined. Like today, China or probably South Korea, they have already, used this demographic dividend to become a developed country today. But while we are talking about, we have this advantage in our hand, there are certain things which probably need immediate attention, irrespective of corporates, academia. I think that NGOs or anybody and everybody, that we need to probably focus on certain areas which probably going to help to take this demographic dividend and make this country is a developed country as well as more economical growthful country in coming days. Otherwise, if we don't take this kind of steps right at this moment, and then this dividend is probably going to be the burden in coming days also. One of the most important thing that probably that we all can find out. We are talking about the demographic dividend because of the age factor of the youth that we have today. And if this youth is just getting a degree from the academia and not probably is employable and contribute to the economy, then it is going to be a dangerous situation. Therefore, the biggest challenge both the industry and the academia is facing is the 60%, more than 50% of our youth graduate are unemployable. Now, important area that all we need to think that how can we really align our academic journey towards the industrial journey. And this alignment is not only possible from one side. I sit in the academic because I have an experience of both the side of the table. I spent almost about 20 years in corporate and then probably last 10 years in academia. Then I can see absolute, both the sides are completely different. But if both the sides are not getting married, not engaging themselves rightly, actually the sufferer is going to be the youth. So I sincerely appeal everyone so that let academia and industry come forward, join hand, co-create the curriculum, engage, and so that their requirement can be part of the curriculum. It's not a matter of ego. There are ego from academia, there are ego from industry. So let us all overcome, let us join hand, and then probably we can really add value towards the youth that we are talking about to get the exact dividend for our country. That is the number one point perspective probably that I want to bring. only skillful academic or skillful students or skillful youth probably cannot add value in the country's economy and country development. Until and unless the country is a healthy country, you cannot actually talk about the country is a developed country. I think there is another important role. Of course, the government policy is going to add lot of value addition here. Ayushman Bharat and all these kind of things are going to take a lot of value addition. Where we need to add something so that the youth can be a healthy youth. And once I say healthy youth, again, both the industry and academia has a lot of role to play. The reason being, of course, including government has to play a lot of role here. The most important observation that I have seen, if you go to the remotest part of even this state, today, once we talk about health, nutrition, and all these kind of things, people are actually not aware about this. Unfortunately, in our curriculum, starting at this curriculum, all we talk about the higher education curriculum, but we forget the basic curriculum, which probably starts from class, primary school itself. There are a huge lot of missing element in terms of the health education. Now, probably with this forum, can we give a message to the government to come up with a policy framework so that the curriculum integration can be done even from the primary education level, elementary education to the secondary education and then to higher education, so that youth can be really healthy. And they must be aware of it, that education is not there, that is missing. The third element that I have observed, I can probably give a couple of examples. Nowadays in the private university, pushing the students for the greater placement opportunity, sending them to the big corporates and all these things. But nowhere into our academic journey, we never give them an education that is called the financial education. If you really don't give the financial education to the student, I think the money is not actually going to be used in the right manner. Of course, because of this age dividend, and of course because of the lack of dependency, because of the nuclear family system today, the dependency is also getting reduced, and thereby the young students earning money, there is a possibility of saving and spending both, and thereby I think that country is getting a better hand of the economic growth. But on the other side, if you look at the money spending of the youth that they are earning is not happening in the right manner, and thereby the youth is getting distracted into the different bad way and spending money in the bad way. And I think if academia and industry jointly come together, including government, come up with a policy system, integrate I would say financial education component into our academic system, from the elementary to the higher education, the entire space, I think then only probably we can really enjoy the dividend that we are going to get till 2025 or so, and probably we can enjoy that even for next couple of decades. Now coming to this is a bigger prospect I'm talking about. Now coming to, since I am representing Adams University here, then probably a couple of things that I want to bring here.
Professor Giri will have to keep it little.
Yeah, just one point
in the second round.
One point probably I would like to bring. Because once you are talking about all these things, then it is most important element that we all are missing in some point is the compassionate integration, integrity, and all these kind of things. So I think all these parameters, though looks like a more philosophical, but all these things, if you are not putting up rightly into the youth's mind and heart, actually we are missing the bus of this, this dividend we are talking about. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Giri. May I now request Mr. Manoj Joshi, please, for your comments.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here. In between all the dignitaries, I don't know how much I can contribute, but I will share my 2 cents thought. Professor Parthapratim started with the demographic dividend of India. 28, 29 years is the median age right now. But the more alarming figure for me is 47 years is the median age for the working population, the workforce. Where are the youth going? And the fact is, the last few years, the absolute and percentage both of the number of young people getting into the workforce is going down. It's coming down at an alarming pace. Why aren't they joining the workforce? That's a question we ask. I've spent my entire career in skilling, career-oriented education, and that's what we do. We've been doing this for 105 years now. And one of the things we notice with people that we work with our students that we work with, is that the biggest challenge that they face is the dignity of labor. We don't have dignity of labor in India. Right after they get into school, we as parents, we start feeding this into our children. You have to join the government, become a doctor, become an engineer. Great careers, by the way. But we are pushing them into something where they have 1% chance of success, only 1%. I operate across different states. The problem is very acute in the north and in many other states. A majority of the students in college, if you ask them, what do you want to do? We are preparing for government jobs. Okay. Now what happens? Only 1% succeed. What about the 99%? Since they have only spent their time preparing for government jobs, they have ignored their graduation. Then we talked about unemployable graduates, because they were never graduates at all. They were just doing a token graduation, or they were just not focused on their actual skill development. This is a big problem. The problem varies between different states. In Bengal, we face different problems. In the Northeast, we have different problems. But in general, this is we push our students to doing things which we wanted to do. What we want to do, we think is good for them. Instead of letting them innovate, letting them think, letting them dream. We've invested in technology for too long. We have not invested in people. When I say we invested in technology, look at the businesses that we've set up in the last 40, 50 years in India. We import machineries, we manufacture. That's our manufacturing, that's it. Or we get into services sector. We are a global capability center at best, except for a couple of large TCS, Infosys. We don't have innovations. We don't have IP. Why don't we have IP? Why don't we have innovation? Because we have not let our students think, not let them dream, not let them make mistakes, not let them chase their dreams. We have very smart, you can give example of some very smart people who have probably left India and gone abroad, or maybe still here. But that's because that's true for every society across the world. If you look at the percentage terms, every society creates a percentage of smart, extremely intelligent outliers. But the general population has to be catered to. The general population, we have not, our education system has failed them. Last 10 years, the government has been pushing very hard the Skill India, skill initiatives, a number of programs have been introduced. But most of them have been on paper. We talk about skills in every university, every college, wherever I go, they talk about skills, but nobody does anything on that. We talk about making them employable. The best we will do as academicians is, apart from the degree, which is probably antiquated, if you're a private institution, you have a slightly more flexibility. If you're working under the government framework, you are probably teaching your students something which is 5 to 7 years old. And then we add a little bit of, give you this certification program. That's what we've done. Because we're trying to make up for the mistakes which has happened 10 years, 15 years back. We've probably not let our children think. We've not let them explore what they really wanted to do. At George Telegraph Group, we celebrate 105 years this year. And we're entering 106 years now. We started with doing something for the youth. So youth who would not go into the conventional stream of education. Although we have changed track a little bit, we are also catering to the conventional students who want to get to conventional education, get into degrees. That's one segment. That's how we have students here from our colleges. The idea is to cater to the students a degree which works for you, something which works for you, not just a degree which is basically looking good on your nameplate. That means that once you finish a degree, you chase a dream which is aligned to your areas of interest. And then it stops looking like work, and it starts looking like fun. It starts looking like something which you would always want to do. This is unfortunately not being implemented as a part of the policy framework of the government. That strongly as well. I'll give you a small anecdote. If you speak to any a worker in Germany, I mean, my son came and told me a story that he was speaking to a basic worker in Germany just to find out what his thought process on a process they were trying to change was. This gentleman was walking around with all the tools and tied to his vest, all the screwdrivers and whatever he was. But when he spoke to them, he spoke like a PhD professor. He says that his level of knowledge is more than many of our teachers. He has studied hard. He has dignity of labor. He's proud of what he's doing. His knowledge on whatever he's doing is way more than any of our professors. That's why one person can do the job of 4 or 5. Whereas we've not developed to that level. We have to start at a very low level. We have to start at the school level. We have to start and build up from there. We have to give them our children the freedom. If somebody says, I want to go into becoming a sports person, encourage that. Today, sports is sports is a sector. I'm just giving an example, by the way. Sports is a sector which is probably not going to be, affected by AI as much as many of the other sectors are going to be. So let them be. There are careers you can make in sports. There are careers you can make in music, arts, performing arts, anywhere. Just let them develop. Maybe you could still be a performing artist and decide to become a doctor. I mean, I know so many wonderful doctors who sing so well, and they're like, I don't know, somehow I find doctors to be great performing artists. So give them the freedom, which we have not given. As far as, the time is too short, but there's a lot of things to say. I'm very opinionated on this matter. So thank you very much for hearing my ramble, and thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj. Whenever I listen to you, you mesmerize me. Professor Paroma Homek, please.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Italy Inspiration, for inviting me. It's a privilege to me. Rather than starting discussion on the topic, I have some open question to the forum itself and to the audience and all the delegates present here. The question is, what is the basic definition of youth? Is it only the chronological age between 15 to 24 or less than 15 to 30? Because I personally, what I am going to share with you is my personal experience with my students, with my son, 2 sons at home between 15 to 24, which I handle every day. I'm going to share that only, not on whatever is present in the National Youth Policy India 2021, all with the missionaries and visionaries, which may be finding some gaps with the real world. So what is this thing that I find is that the entire energy level which is showing in the demographic picture of India, there is some paradox. Because that particular energy level is shifted to the age group of 60 and beyond. The more energetic, more active participation I can find on that particular group. Even my observation is true for Hijri Inspiration or Hijri also. There is lack of footprints for the young members. I don't know what is the reason. That is why this is my open question to you all. what is the problem? Not the problem. They have the immense potential. I have my student who's here also. With that, with due respect to their energy, their potential, what is my observation I am sharing, which is very alarming. That is, they are not ready to participate in any active societal, purposeful activities. Maybe whatever Sir Professor Chakraborty has shared, have we ever researched or started reacting? What is the impact of AI on the youth mind? How the mental health is actually going to give a big impact on the mental health? Don't you think the youth people are going to they are getting addicted strictly to some sort of comfort zone? We are beyond the age of mobile addiction. The screen time and all these things are the reasons. But they are going to they are going to a virtual world. They are living in a virtual world. Even with the students, with any young people, they don't want to the simple grocery shop, to the fruit sellers. They don't have the idea to identify what is a fresh fruit, what is a stale fruit. They have never smelled. Their brain activation, their brain is not trained with the smell of how it looks like, because they have only visualized the screen on which they are just giving a finger push and it is coming to using the Blinkit and all. So the entire world to them is coming with a visualization, with a virtual world, as I feel so. Our models are getting trained with so many real life data. But what happens to the human, to our youth generation, the Gen AI as we call it? How they are not willing to face the real life people. They are reluctant with the proper communication even. They are going in deep inside into their own comfort zone where they are not ready to leave that zone. This is my observation for the last 5 years, and the impact of AI, as I can feel, it started from 2021 when OpenAI has actually make it free to available to all. The ChatGPT came in the year 2021 or 2022 onwards. Yeah, exactly. From 2022, people have started, things are becoming easy. But what is the impact on the brain activation part? What sort of learning? I think that as because Sir has said that this demographic, this particular figure will not last forever. It is going to last for only 20 or next 25 years, because this is also going to decline. But are we able to harness the energy, this real potential? Why not? All the proper enthusiastic, they are not ready to take any sorts of disappointments. They are not tolerant to the failures. These are the life skills that they should learn. And I think that learning should be a complete integration with the elder ones, having the proper experience with which they have already shaped their life with the real life experience. So with this collaboration, only India will be able to harness its total potential energy, which has a huge resource pool is there. But where is the problem? Only with, though there are many reasons, this big shift, why the youth is facing this sort of thing, there is a big reason behind the entire education paradigm has shifted. The classroom teaching is doubtful, it's questionable whether it's required or not. So if you can see the only 2025, the picture shows that Coursera, almost 32.5 million Indian registration was there. So people are quite used with the online teaching. So all these things are there. The economy, the society, everything has shifted with the Gen AI. But the impact that is coming to the mindset, to the mental health of the youth, it's really alarming, as I can find. They are becoming less tolerant, they are getting frustrated, they are not used to with the ups and downs of life. No, they are not getting the real experience. So these are the things which we should be taken enough care, and so that we can give it a proper bridge with the elder ones and the younger ones. And regarding this, the tone of authenticity will no longer work. as I can find. Even they are very clear, they are not ready to compromise, negotiate, adjust, which are the keywords of our generation. They are very straightforward, even with the problems, even with any sorts of reason, they will come up clearly, they will give their opinion clearly. And I think that can also be nurtured in a positive manner. The way it should be encouraged. It has got its positive points also. But the real thing is, what is the difference with the super achiever's brain and with the ours one? Why the young ones are facing so difficulties? What is the difference? And mostly, this is also one observation that the major part of the day, that is the entire morning session, has been hacked by digital world. What is the thing? Mostly what the neuroscientists say about the star achievers, that is, they call it the movers. The movers' aim comes for the meditation. Even 1 minute of silent sitting is enough for meditation. O comes for the oxygenation. That is, during the early hours, you should breathe, you should get enough sunlight. All these things are missing from our life. Then V comes from the visualization. Whatever we are planning to do throughout the day, if we can have a little mind map on that, so that at the end of the day we can get how much we have accomplished, how much we have not. That is measuring the accuracy, how the model gets improvised. Then we have the E. E comes for the exercise. Exercise involve the mental health exercise also, not for making the health to please others. This is what we can find, that the gyms are there, but just to get a nice photograph, just to please others in the social media. All these things should be taken care. And regarding the R, it's at least write and read the positive things. And S, mover said S, scribe everything negative. But I have seen, every day I see people are the young people are so much conscious, so much sensitive to what reaction others have given to them. So they are living at the cost of acknowledgement of others from the social media, basically. That disappoints them.
I think we will also have to come back to this. Because
Thank
it's
you,
a
sir.
very different important perspective.
So this is, with all these things, I'm concluding. This was my small observation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. So, last panelist, Professor Pushmita Shetty, please.
First of all, congratulations to Hijri Inspiration for successfully completing 30 years. Thank you for having me. It's a privilege to be part of such an esteemed stage. Well, coming in at the last of the panel has its advantages and disadvantages both. Eminent speakers before me have talked about capacity building in a socially inclusive manner. They have talked about the requirement for industry academia connect. They have talked about the role of skill building and upskilling, and of course the impact of AI on youth. What I would like to talk very briefly on is demographic dividend. What does it mean? What does it exactly mean? Does it simply mean numbers? Are we talking about our youth just in terms of numbers, age bracket, economic bracket, whatever kind of statistical data? Or are we thinking of them as our future, the future of the nation? And in that sense, I sometimes feel, both as an educator and as a parent, that we have a tendency to think of our youth in terms of beneficiaries, in terms of what we can do for them, what the government can do for them, what the corporate can do for them, what the policymakers and the thinkers and the movers and shakers of the world can do for them. However, I do feel that like I said, as an educator and as a parent, one of the most important things that we can do for our youth is to listen. Because I do believe that they have things to say. I do believe that they are capable of saying it. And I do believe that once we give our youth the opportunity and the agency to speak up, they will. And they do. And in that sense, we have to make our classrooms, our workspaces, our personal spaces far more inclusive, where they feel seen, they feel heard, and they feel that their opinion matters without judgment, without right or wrong, that whatever thoughts they may have, they can share with us freely. And I believe that if we are able to sort of give them that feeling of empowerment, then they would hopefully take on a feeling of ownership. As Madam said right at the beginning, that the onus was put on the students to save 1 rupee. And so they were not told, they were made to feel that they were part of building, of creating something good. And they felt that they were owners of or co-creators of that project. So I think if we are able to convey that sort of feeling of ownership and responsibility, then our youth will stand up for themselves. Coming to particular areas, of course, curriculum redesign along the lines of NEP with a lot of focus on skill building, with a lot of focus on internship, developing the industry academia connect, a lot of focus on development of vernacular, actually, with modern Indian languages being made compulsory. That does have a role to play in terms of policy and in making education accessible. We have to believe that most of us speak from a position of privilege, and that privilege is not accessible to a majority of our youth. And so to make that privilege accessible, to bridge not just the digital divide, we keep talking about the digital divide, the divide is everywhere. Sometimes in something as basic as language in education. So in terms of policy, there are roles to play, I'm sure, but the execution for a country as vast as complicated as India always remains a challenge. But I think there are a lot of scope in terms of governmental policies that have come in, which do have a role to play, but remains to be seen how far they would be successful. At a personal level, as a ma'am was saying, we can all do our little bit in supporting our youth, especially in terms of mental health, creating awareness and all of that. To end, I'd just like to share something. So a few days back, I was watching a documentary on longevity. There was a study, it's a very famous study conducted in the US on creating blue zones across the world. So a blue zone, if anybody is not aware, is a certain density of population of centenarians. And Singapore is a huge success story in that. And one of the policy makers was sharing is that they have a policy of creating small nudges. Not great policy, not major policy changes, but small nudges. For example, in creating a healthier youth, they just have walkways everywhere. There's an option of using that. Cars are prohibitively priced. So people are de-incentivized to buy cars, and because walkways are available, they use that. There's health options, healthy choice options made available It is government incentivized to advertise that. And so it's just about making choices available. Small choices, inconspicuous choices being made available so that even unknowingly at a subliminal level, the suggestions work and we gravitate towards those choices. So I think in terms of policy, at very hyper local level, at individual level, these are some things that we can do. At institutional and personal levels. So these are basically just some of my random thoughts that came to me listening to the speakers before me. And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dey. So we have had the opportunity of listening to all our 5 panelists, and if I could just quickly sum up on that. So Professor Francis primarily talked on a very interesting experiment of capacity building and empowerment. So, which is really something to think about, because the experiment went on in Kolkata and Bengal in India, so it's pretty replicable. So certainly, I would like to have thoughts on that further. Professor Giri certainly focuses on employability, which is a big question. And I really liked, and this is something that my son has been telling me for the last 5 years, that you were trying to teach me so much, you didn't tell me how to read a balance sheet. You didn't tell me how to have a life, because so all these, the really surviving aspects of life, which in a way relates to what Porma was talking about in terms of really, and Porma sounded completely a voice of the mother. And since at present I spend a lot of time in a university called Ashoka University, which is a liberal open university which tries to do some of the experiments that Manoj was referring to. That I have students who do my CS class and then jumps on to doing Bharatanatyam. It's supported by that system. But we do see this very high occurrences of mental health issues. Nobody has an answer to all of that. So concerns of Porma is very well placed. Manoj is somewhat different in this group, because runs an independent organization which is more than century old. Therefore, your perspective was very interesting, because you were trying to touch upon all of capacity building, employability, collaboration, all of those, which is really interesting. Talks on skills, not having an action, not letting youth to explore, are certainly things that, again, that is probably the problem, insightful voices and audience will say, NEC talks about all of this. NEP document talks about all of this. And we haven't been seeing any action plans based on those. So on paper, do we not know? Yes, we do. On practice, we do not. And finally, Professor Dey, madam, you have asked a very genuine question that what is demographic dividend? It's possibly that I would say it is the national dividend. It just happens that in a certain age group, you do have the biological energy to work more. Obviously, that's very important. And Professor Dey also had some very constructive suggestions like inclusive workspaces and listening, which I think anyone who's gone through management courses are very well aware. There, when I was going through, there used to be a couple of classes to explain that it's not important to talk, it's important to listen. So really nicely points placed. Now it's open to the insightful voices, judges, may I say. So let's go in the same order, or we start with the government. We'll start with the government. Please, madam.
Thank you. Respected moderator, panelist, my co-insightful voice persons, dignitaries on and off the dais. I just want to ask one thing. Do all of us understand Bengali? Anyone who doesn't understand Bengali? So আমি ফার্স্টই আপনার কাছে একটু পারমিশন চেয়ে নিচ্ছি। পশ্চিমবঙ্গে বসে অলমোস্ট সবাই, উনিও বাংলা বোধহয় বুঝেন, আই আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড, যেহেতু হাত তোলেননি, তো আমি এই অপরচুনিটিটা নিচ্ছি আমি বাংলায় বলি একটু পশ্চিমবঙ্গ সরকারের তরফ থেকে। আর আজকে আমি কদিন ধরেই পড়ছিলাম, আমাকে দময়ন্তী ম্যাডাম পাঠিয়েছিলেন, তো যাই হোক ব্যাপারটা পড়ছিলাম। তো কালকে একটা ব্যাপার আমি দেখছিলাম যে একটু দেখি যে কি বলবো, কারণ আমি এই সব জায়গায় এসে এত দেখতে ভয় পাই, কারণ অনেকদিন আগে কলেজ ছেড়েছি, প্রায় 30 বছর হয়ে গেছে, আর আমিও খুব ফাঁকিবাজ ছিলাম, যদিও পিএইচডি ফাইনালি করেছে, কিন্তু ছিলাম ফাঁকি, ইঞ্জিনিয়ার মানেই ফাঁকিবাজ, এটা ছিলাম। এখন ব্যাপার হচ্ছে এখানে এসে তো আবার আইটি ডিরেক্টর ছিলেন, এআই নিয়ে বলেছেন, আমি আরো আমার অবস্থা খারাপ হয়ে গেছে। আমি যেটা কালকে দেখছিলাম যে এমনি কোথাও বলতে গেলে আমাদের, যেহেতু আমরা কথা যখন বলি, কোথাও কাজ করি বা কিছু করি, ছোটবেলা থেকে এসে পড়েছি না যে মানুষের 3 প্রাইমারি বেসিক নিড ইজ খাদ্য, বস্ত্র, বাসস্থান। তো আমি দেখলাম যে এই খাদ্য, বস্ত্র, বাসস্থান, এডুকেশন কিন্তু তার পরে বলে। হ্যাঁ, ডেফিনেটলি এই বস্ত্র, বাসস্থান, খাদ্য জোগাড় করতে গেলে এডুকেশন লাগে বা স্কিল লাগে বা আদার থিংস লাগে, বাট সামহাউ ইউ হ্যাভ টু মেক ইয়োরসেলফ উইথ স্কিল, এটা লাগে। তো এই দেখতে গিয়ে আমি দেখলাম যে আচ্ছা এটাই যখন দেখবো, তো দেখি, আমি এমনিতেই খুব ভয় পাই সবসময়। আমাদের একটা চিন্তা হয় যে 142 কোটির দেশ, আমরা কিভাবে যে পলিসি করব আর কিভাবে যে সবাইকে করব, করতে কালকে দেখতে গিয়ে দেখছি একটা জিনিসে পৃথিবীতে ভারতবর্ষ 1 নম্বরে, সেটা হচ্ছে এখন আমরা চায়নাকে ছাড়িয়ে গেছি। আমাদের গতকালের রেট হচ্ছে 146 crore, ঠিক আছে? ইটস নট ইভেন 142 crores, ইট ইজ 146 crores। আজকে দেখলাম পশ্চিমবঙ্গের জনসংখ্যা হচ্ছে 9.13 crores, 9 কোটি 13 লক্ষ পশ্চিমবঙ্গের জনসংখ্যা। তার মধ্যে ইউথ সোকল আমরা যারা বলছি, আমি আপনার কথা মতো মানে যারা সেই অর্থে সিনিয়র, তারা মোর ইয়াং, এইসবে যাচ্ছি না, নর্মাল কোটেই বলছি, সেটা দেখা যাচ্ছে 45% হচ্ছে ইউথ ডিভিডেন্ড, যেটা আমাদের দিতে পারে, যাদের আমরা মনে করছি খুব সোনালী ভবিষ্যৎ দিতে পারে। 45% অফ দ্য 9.13 crores, তার মানে আমার সামনে আছে 4 কোটি অলমোস্ট, আমি অতটা অঙ্কে ভালো বলি, 4 কোটি। তো আমি যখন একজন প্রফেসর, একজন কলেজ বা জর্জ টেলিগ্রাফের আমি হেড বা এনিথিং, আপনাদের কাছে হয়তো আমাদের তুলনায় একটু পরীক্ষাটা সোজা। আমার কাছে যখনই কেউ আসবে বলবে এই গভর্নমেন্টে বসে আছেন কি করছেন, আই হ্যাভ টু থিঙ্ক ফর 4 crores ইন ওয়েস্ট বেঙ্গল। এবং সেই যে বললাম প্রথমে, খাদ্য, বস্ত্র, বাসস্থান, আমি তো লোকের আগে হাতের ভাতটুকু যদি তুলে দেওয়ার ব্যবস্থা করতে না পারি, ওরা দে ওন্ট লিসেন টু এনি অফ ইউর লেকচার। আপনি আজকে স্ক্রিন টাইম কমান চায়নার মতো, কোরিয়ার মতো, কি আপনি পাথ হয়ে বানিয়ে দিন, ওখানে এক্সারসাইজ হয়ে যাবে, ঠিক আছে, করতে হবে এভরিথিং, কিন্তু নোবডি উইল লিসেন টু এনি অফ আস যদি তারা খাদ্য, বস্ত্র, বাসস্থান না পায়। এটা খুব সিম্পল। এবার তাহলে আসছে যেটা আমাদের ইউথকে নিয়ে আমাদের কাজ, ধরে নিচ্ছি, সেখানে এবার কতগুলো স্তর স্যার, কতগুলো স্যার, আপনি বলেছেন 10%, এগুলো আমরা শুনি, 10% এর কাছে 90% ওয়েলথ, বাকি 90% এর কাছে টোটাল 10% ওয়েলথ, সব আমরা এগুলো শুনছি, প্রতিদিন জানছি। এই যে মধ্যবিত্ত, নিম্ন মধ্যবিত্ত, পুয়ার, তার দারিদ্র সীমার নিচে, আমি গভর্নমেন্টে 2006 থেকে আছি, তার আগে ইন্ডাস্ট্রিতে ছিলাম, তার আগে পড়াতাম, এইসব অনেক কিছু করেছি। করে আমি যখন গভর্নমেন্টে গেলাম এবং আমার একটা রুরাল ডিস্ট্রিক্টে পোস্টিং হলো, অনন্যাদি আছে, অনন্যাদিরা কাজ করে জানে, ওনার সাথেও লাস্ট 10-15 বছর আমাদের কানেকশন আছে। মালদা ডিস্ট্রিক্টে গেছি, মালদার হরিশ্চন্দ্রপুরে আমি দেখতে গেছি, ওখানে ঢোকরা বলে একটা জিনিস বোনা হয়। আমি কেন বলছি, সেখানে গিয়ে দেখলাম একটা আদিবাসী গ্রাম, মেয়েরা জুট থেকে, মানে পাটের দড়ি থেকে খয়ের এইসব ন্যাচারাল জিনিস দিয়ে রং করে কোমরে বেঁধে এরম করে টেনে টেনে অসম্ভব কষ্ট করে একটা জিনিস বোনে, সেটার একটা ভালো দাম আছে। কি করে না, ওর দৌড় হচ্ছে ওর সামনের হাট পর্যন্ত, কারণ বাড়ির মেয়ে দূরে যেতে পারবে না, যদি বাড়ির ছেলেও যায় কি করে যাবে। আমি যখন যাচ্ছি তখন আমি বললাম এখানে কোনো রাস্তায় লোক নেই, গাড়ি নেই কেন? বললো ম্যাডাম মিনিমাম যে রাস্তায় পাবলিক ট্রান্সপোর্ট চলে
সেটা এখান থেকে 12 কিলোমিটার দূর। তো আমি বললাম তাহলে আপনাদের, এটা আমি 2006 এর কথা বলছি, 6-7 ওখানে পোস্টেড ছিলাম আমি। সো আই টোল্ড, আমি সরি আমি টাইমটা দেখি নেই, চেষ্টা করছিলাম 58, বোধহয় 1 মিনিট বলে দিয়েছি, আর 4 মিনিট পাবো। তো সেটা আমি তখন বললাম আপনার এখান থেকে যদি কেউ অসুস্থ হয় কি করে? বললো খাটিয়া আছে, খাটিয়ায় শুইয়ে মেন রোড পর্যন্ত 12 কিলোমিটার। বলছে হ্যাঁ। সো আই ক্রাইড। তখন খুব নরম ছিল, মানে আমি ভাবছি যে তাহলে আমি এদেরকে এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ কি পড়াবো, মানে আমি কি বলবো যে তোমরা লোন নাও। এটা ছিল 2006 এর কেস। আমি তো মনে করি আমি খুব খাটি, সব জায়গা থেকে ডাক পাকও পাই বলে আমি নাকি ভালো বলি, কি বলি আমি জানি না, বাট হোয়াট এভার আই সে আই শুড নট টেল ফ্রম দা when I am telling from the government chair। কিন্তু আমি একটা মানুষ হিসেবে আজ বলছি, আমাকে এভাবে না দেখা। আজকে 2025-এ দাঁড়িয়ে আছি। আজকে আমার কি কন্ডিশন, আমি 26-এ, হ্যাঁ থ্যাংক ইউ, 26-এ দাঁড়িয়ে আছি, এখনো ভোট কাটেনি। তো অনন্যাদি জানে, আমি কালকেই বলছিলাম, আমরা ক্যালকাটা ইউনিভার্সিটিতে একটা কাজ দিয়েছি, আমাদের সেন্ট্রাল গভর্নমেন্টের একটা কাজ পেয়েছি, তাতে আমাদের বিভিন্ন প্যারামিটার্স আছে, তাতে ওমেন এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপের কি স্ট্যাটাস, এখন ওমেন এম্পাওয়ারমেন্ট খুব চলছে, যেমন DEI চলছে এখন, ডাইভার্সিটি, ইকুইটি অ্যান্ড ইনক্লুসিভনেস, আজকেও ইনক্লুসিভনেস বলেছি, বিকশিত ভারত বলছি, অনেক কিছু বলছি, ঠিক আছে, অল আর গুড, কারণ যারা পলিসি মেকার্স ওপরে টপমোস্ট প্রান্তে বসে আছেন তারা ভেবেই করেছেন, ইকোনমিক এক্সপার্টস আছেন, ফিনান্সিয়াল এক্সপার্টস আছেন, অল আর দেয়ার। আমি যখন ভাবছি যে আমি গত 1 মাস ধরে ক্যালকাটা ইউনিভার্সিটি আমাদের ওনাদের 6000 আর্টিসান, ওমেন আর্টিসানের উপরে করতে হবে টেস্ট, মানে ওই কোশ্চেনিয়ার করে বিভিন্ন করবেন। তো ওনারা ফার্স্ট একটা ডেমো করেছেন 535 জনের মধ্যে। কালকে যখন প্রেজেন্টেশন দিচ্ছেন তখন ম্যাডাম বলছেন, যিনি দিচ্ছেন বলছেন, সারপ্রাইজিংলি আমাদের যারা আর্টিসান মেয়েরা যারা আছে কাজ করে, অল অফ দেম আর হ্যাভিং স্মার্টফোন। ট্রু, কিন্তু তার 52% দে ইভেন কুড নট টেল দেয়ার ফোন নাম্বার। সো দিস ইজ, তাহলে কি পারে, ওরা মোবাইলে শুধু ফটো তুলতে পারে, এবং তাদের এরাও করা আছে, তাদের ছেলে বা তাদের মেয়ে বা তাদের মেল পার্টনার বা কিছু তারা করে দিয়েছে যে ও ওই যে দেখবে একটা টিপে বলবে ছন্দার ফোন, ছন্দা বুলা রে। তো এটা এটুকু, মানে তার মানে হোয়াট উই কল, কেরালায় বলি 100% হয়ে গেছে, আমাদেরও কত পার্সেন্ট আমি দেখিনি, দেখলে বেরিয়ে যাবে, এগুলো সব তথ্য আর দিই না কারণ গুগলে সব অ্যাভেলেবেল। কিন্তু আমি বলছি তাহলে আজকের দিনে দাঁড়িয়েও গতকালের রিপোর্ট হচ্ছে 52% অফ 534 জন মহিলা এন্টারপ্রেনার, তারা রোজগার করছে, লোন নিয়েছে, বিজনেস মোটামুটি চালাচ্ছে, বিশাল না হলেও, তারা ইভেন দে ক্যানট রেকগনাইজ দ্য ডিজিট। তার মানে আমি এই জন্য বলছি যে আমি তাহলে কাদের নিয়ে কথা বলবো, স্তরেরও তো স্তর আছে, স্তরের কোনো শেষ নেই। সেখানে গভর্নমেন্টের এখন অবস্থা হচ্ছে, এখন সেই সুজাতার তো শুধু এই ভিক্ষাপাত্র আছে, যাই সবাকার কাছে কাছে এরকম টাইপের কিছু একটা। তো আমি যেটা বলবো, সবটাই আমি পেসিমিস্টিক বলবো না, হোয়াট আই পার্সোনালি ফিল, গভর্নমেন্টের চেয়ার থেকে তো হোয়াট এভার উই ডু দ্যাট ইজ লেস। আমি ওনার সাথে কথা বলছেন, উনি বলছেন আপনার কি মনে হচ্ছে ছেলেরা কি করছে? আমি ওই যে বললাম যে আমার সামনে যেহেতু টার্গেটটা 2000 বাচ্চা নয়, আমার সামনে তো 4 কোটির টার্গেট, তো হোয়াট এভার আই ডু ফর দ্য ইউথ ইট ইজ লেস। আমি সকালবেলা, আমি ভোরবেলা উঠে, আপনি বলছিলেন স্ক্রিন টাইম কমাবে, আমি কি করবো? আমাকেও তো, আমি পার্সোনালি ভোরবেলা ঘুম ভাঙলে ফার্স্টে দেখি অফিসে কটা মেল ঢুকেছে, এবং এমন একটা কিরম হয়ে গেছি, আমি নিজেকে মাঝে মাঝে বলি না আমি এখন কেন দেখবো, 10টার সময় অফিস যাবো তখন দেখবো, কিন্তু আমি পারি না। আমি দেখি অলরেডি পিডব্লিউসি থেকে বসে আছি, পিডব্লিউসি আমার সাথে কাজ করছে, পিডব্লিউসি অলরেডি সুদীপ্ত মাত্র পাঠানো, বললো যে ম্যাডাম আপনাদের এই GI 36টা হয়েছে, তার অথরাইজড ইউজারের নামগুলো পাঠান। তো আমি জাস্ট পাঠিয়ে যাচ্ছি। সো আই ট্রাই। এবার আমি যখন দিন শেষে ঢুকছি, আমি দেখছি সত্যি তো আমিও মেডিটেট করিনি। সো ফার্স্ট আই হ্যাভ টু জাজ আমার মেন্টাল কন্ডিশন কি আজকে। আমি ইউথকে নিয়ে কথা বলবো, বিকজ অল অফ আস আমরা প্রোগ্রেসের নামে যেটা বলছি, সাস্টেনেবল ডেভেলপমেন্ট স্যার খুব দরকার, মানে একটু আস্তে চলো, আমি এটা বলছি, একটু ধীরে চলো। এই দৌড়ে অনেক কিছু করছি আমরা সবাই, এখন অ্যাভেলেবেল কে কি করছি, কতটা ইয়েস করছি, কতটা নো করছি, আমার মতে একটু আস্তে চলা বোধহয় আমাদের একমাত্র মন্ত্র। থ্যাংক ইউ।
That's a very great insight, but reality on ground, নিচের তলার বাস্তবটা একদম অন্যরকম। That's great. Thank you very much, Dr. Sen. So I would request Madam Ananya Bhattacharya, BanglaNatok.com, highly rated initiative. We all look forward to that. Please, your insights, ma'am.
Thank you.
and I'll just take this opportunity to say congratulations to the entire team of History Inspiration and thank you for inviting us for this wonderful discussion. এখন আপনারা যা বলেছেন, we are all facing these ground realities and we are in very difficult times. And the reality is that technology is opening up opportunities. We are talking of multilingual, the courses are, আমি যেহেতু as Mo was mentioning, আমরা কাজ করি প্রায় 70,000 লোকশিল্পীর সাথে where we are trying to develop grassroots entrepreneurship এবং তাদের মধ্যে 70% have primary level education. But we are finding that smartphone, ওই যে ধোকরার কথা বললো, ওই ধোকরা গ্রামে কিন্তু ট্রান্সফরমেশন এসে গেছে। আজকে দাঁড়িয়ে ধোকরার শিল্পীরা দিল্লি যাচ্ছে, বম্বে যাচ্ছে, বিদেশ যাচ্ছে, and their products are there in বিশ্ব বাংলা, in airport, you'll find. So the transformation is happening. So it's not that everything is bad, it's not that everything is hunky-dory, কিন্তু the reality is that we have to take localized solutions. And as you all mentioned, that we have to give the youth the opportunity to co-create solution. I think আমাদের আগের generation looked for চাকরি. Honestly, in our generation, there has been more entrepreneurship. And now I think we should forget that job. এখনো আমাদের skill development policy বলে how many jobs are generated and that funds the skill development program. We really need to move away from it and encourage entrepreneurship. আপনি পাঠশালা আর আমাদের vernacular education সিস্টেমের কথা বললেন, we as a country we have this tremendous natural knowledge and skill যেটা কিন্তু সারা পৃথিবীতে খুব কম দেশে আছে। ওই যে 1.4 billion people, সেখানে কিন্তু there are so many ethnicities and so many skills and we in our policy have never tried to take advantage of that. I think that and technology together can create a new future and it is happening. So I'm very hopeful on that front. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Understandably, a very inclusive voice from bangla.com. I would request Mr. Shauraveshwar Singh for your insights.
Namaskar, good evening to everyone, and first and foremost, a big congratulations to History Inspiration. I think I would request a big round of applause for all of them once more. একটু ঠান্ডা পড়েছে, so I think we will just also move our hands a little bit. অলকাদি বসে আছে, I take the liberty, she is the energizer, usually makes everyone feel like a youth. But I'm Shauraveshwar Sen and I'm really honored to be amidst really distinguished speakers. And as I mentioned right at the start, that we'll do some movements, okay? I mean, I just want to break the little silo, if I can take the liberty. So, because we were discussing about employability, the mobile phone came into our conversation a lot, right? So I would request all of you to take out your mobile phones once. Sorry, I mean, if it's inconvenient for all of you, but if all of us can take out our mobile phones once, just take out our mobile phones. And usually it happens, I don't know, sometimes because I am also a mentor and professor in some places, when we ask people not to take out their phones, they take out, but when we request them to take out, they really feel new. So, sorry, so how many of us use this phone to order something online? You can raise our hands. Everyone, right? Yes, everyone. Right. Not all of it, right? Both online and offline, yes. I mean, that's why this device is a metaphor, right? So, okay, great. And how many times that you received your order at your doorstep, did you receive it from a female delivery person? Female delivery person. Basically less, okay. Like, I hope everyone has understood my question, right? How many times that you received your order at your doorstep have you received from a female delivery person? A delivery girl. আমার 7 বছরের মেয়ে আমাকে দুদিন আগে এসে ডেলিভারি বয় কেন বলি বাবা? Delivery girl? Great. So we searched on Google delivery girl. মানে খুব অভিনব রেজাল্টস দিল Google, right? যে apparently সবকিছু জানে. So if you have taken out your phones, how many of you have internet access, by the way, right now? Amar nei somehow. But যাদের আছে, can you please quickly take out Google and search Even Cargo, EVENCARGO, Even Cargo. যাদের ইন্টারনেট আছে, কজনে থাকলেও হবে। Even Cargo, EVENCARGO, Even Cargo. Has someone been able to? আলাদা আলাদা, even যেমন odd even এর even শব্দটি তার সাথে cargo. Yes. So Even Cargo is India's first ever agency 2016-17 nagat that started training women to become delivery personals to the e-commerce delivery platforms. যারা যারা ওয়েবসাইটটা খুলেছেন হয়তো দেখতে পাবেন, you are greeted into the website with a YouTube link featuring Sachin Tendulkar. You can make a note, আপনি বাইরে ভিডিও দেখতে পারেন, Even Cargo. So Even Cargo was started by Yogesh Kumar, whom we had, I would rather use the word privilege, to support him, mentor him, guide him. And Yogesh tried to address a very basic problem. Like as basic as Mohma mentioned that roti kapra makan, and you can be very basic in your approach, but yet have a much sustained impact. Yogesh Kumar started Even Cargo 2016-17, and over the years they have expanded in the sense that প্রচুর নামকরা e-commerce platforms এ তারা বলেছিল we are introducing female delivery personnel on our platform. So the point is that localized solution, as you rightly mentioned, is very important for us to be understood. Even Cargo সম্বন্ধে আমরা যখন দেখব, আমরা নিজেরাই একটু অবাক হয়ে যাই যে বাবা, সচিন তেন্ডুলকর Even Cargo সম্বন্ধে বলছে, আমরা জানলাম না। শাহরুখ খান যখন শাকসবজি বিক্রি করে তখন তো আমরা জানতে পারি, right? So there are certain questions that we need to ask ourselves, right? Cut to same ফোনেতে যাদের ইন্টারনেট আছে প্লিজ সার্চ। কেন আমি বলছি আপনাকে সার্চ করতে, আমি একটু বলে দিই। Whether you like it or not, mobile phones have deep influence in our decision making. And amazingly, Parma Madam Achen, and there are a lot of people from technical background, you will understand, otherwise also we understand, our search engine learns what we want to search and accordingly feeds us back with information that we enjoy. ওই জন্য আমরা কোনোদিনও বোর হই না ফোন নিয়ে, right? So let's make our search engine learn. Even Cargo একবার পেয়ে গেলে না, বারবার Even Cargo দেবে আপনাকে রেজাল্ট। Even Cargo অপারেশনের সম্বন্ধে জানতে পারবেন। Even Cargo is now in Kolkata from 1st April last year. But we are facing a tremendous challenge of integrating them with livelihood. And that is where we have large scale livelihood initiatives through Bangla Natok next to me. I'm so honored to be next to them, and so many of you with whom we would love to collaborate, right? Technology is there to provide solutions in safety issues. Same phone please search করুন CanFem, CANFEM. Can কথাটি ক্যান্সার থেকে আসে, can ক্যান্সার, fem হচ্ছে ফিমেল থেকে, CanFem. মহিলা ক্যান্সার সার্ভাইভাররা, especially starting with breast cancer survivors, they have very very specific needs which a lot of times our readily available market cannot support them with. Akriti Gupta, abar honored to have been able to support them. Founder of CanFem is now creating customizable solution products, clothing solutions for breast cancer survivors and beyond, including quite naturally psychosocial support through CSR partnership. কারণ সাইকোসোশ্যাল সাপোর্ট একটা ক্রিটিক্যাল এরিয়া, মেন্টাল হেলথ নিয়ে আমরা কথা বললাম, রাইট? ভেরি ভেরি ক্রিটিক্যাল। তো ই-কমার্স দিয়ে শুরু করেছিলাম। হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ফুল ফর্ম অফ ই-কমার্স? কুইকলি, youth and youthful energy, electronic commerce, right? এই ইলেকট্রনিক কমার্সের সাথে সাথে আমাদের কিন্তু এখন এমার্জেন্সি কমার্সের সম্বন্ধেও ভাবতে হবে। I get what I want from vegetables to a coffee machine in 8 minutes, whereas ambulance is still a problem. Right? Right? Even if you dial ambulance, what do we dial for ambulance, anyone? 108. What do we dial to call police? 100. What do we dial for mental health care support? Okay, not known. So in 2022, that's